All right, greetings everyone. This late ass Sunday night, basically Monday morning. This is Kev. I have a few people on the panel joining with me tonight, and here's what we want to talk about. People seem to be in their fields quite a bit on social media, and just have I just like two of my accounts on social media just got out of suspension. You know why? Because someone got in their feels about what I said, and it's like people like to start shit, but they can't finish it, and then when they get mad, they go on all these little diatribes about you, whatever you're about, your family, just any goddamn thing, and a lot of these things start over a joke. So, with our panelists, we're going to discussion, share a few of our stories. I'm going to have this broadcast in particular will be kind of interesting and enlightening, and maybe we have some information that might be useful to someone out there. Can't imagine what that is at this point, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We have from the Roger Report. We have Roger Stevens from the YouTube channel You Ain't Shit for Watching, among various other forms of social media. She owns two groups on social media. One is Rain's World 24, is basically a gamer fan page on Facebook, and Peanut Butter Girls. Lost them in typing. I can't name there. So to my panelists, y'all want to say hi?
Hello.
What's
Hello,
going
Miss
on?
Rain. What's up? What's up,
How you
guys?
doing? How you
All
doing?
right. All right. And the subject matter is our people on social media. And when I say social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, I don't know about Snap. I haven't had too much. Okay. Let me see. Let's get Roger. Hey Roger, what is your perspective on black people being in their fields on social media?
My
What
perspective is. Oh, go ahead. What were you about to say?
I was just going to say, when that statement, when you hear that statement, what comes to mind?
Honestly, what comes to mind is we, as a group of people, a lot of us are just way too immature. You know, a lot of a lot of well, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people are just trolling, and I do believe it's blown up more than what it actually is because people will say someone's in their feelings, and they're not really in their feelings. But when people give emotional reactions to silly stuff, I mean when we're talking about a subject matter, but then someone goes off the subject matter to talk about something else or attacking a person personally. Well, when you start making those attacks, I look at it as you're the person in your feelings, even though you may be accusing someone else of it. But when you are trying to make a point or trying to defend a point, but you're talking about something else that has nothing to do with the point, then I look at you as you're the person that's in your feelings. You're being immature at that point. And if you can't handle a discussion with other people, especially people over the internet, there's no bodily harm, no threat of bodily harm or anything like that. A lot of us just too immature. That's just how I take it. We just too immature and need to grow up.
Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of us have maturity issues on this social media. We don't agree with, we go off the fucking deep end. And a lot of people that have a problem admitting that. Now, Roger, can you tell me about any experience that you've had where someone got in their feels with you on social media, and
Uh,
not just not just any old story either. I mean, I'm sure you can
I'll
think
tell
of.
you one that was happening today, yesterday, and the day before.
Mm,
I just, this is on YouTube. happened across happened across a young lady who who was basically promoting to black women that they should be looking to date white men. And as she was promoting this to black women, she was telling them about how they need to make certain changes, stop promoting poverty, stop being single mothers, and a lot of different things that black men say all the time to black women about why they have trouble. So I made a comment on the post saying that women simply need to just black women as a group. No, the stuff was about as a group, but a few black women attacked me on, and I said as a group y'all need to improve your behavior. I said it's amazing that a black woman in a in a in a poor fashion basically use the same advice that men have been giving y'all for decades to improve yourself. But the only time you feel you need to improve yourself is to do it for a white man. Now, of course, so women started attacking me about this point, and they kept telling me, well, you guys are this and you guys are that, and we don't want black men anymore and all that. And I kept saying to them, I said, look, I'm not here to argue what you want. What I'm trying to let you know is the problem is not black men. You're trying to get a man to love you and marry you. Your problem is not with black men. Your problem is your behavior. As a group, you need to change your behavior so you can attract the quality man that you want. You're not going to make any headway unless you change your behavior. And and they just kept attacking it, started pulling out stats about black men and all this other stuff. And I kept saying to them, at the end of the day, no matter how men act, the issue is you can't attract the quality man you want. That means you need to change your behavior. Telling me about some dude is not gonna fix anything for you based on what you're saying your problem is. So the fact that they got upset about me telling them, this is what you need to do for your behavior in order to change. And the only reason you don't have a quality black man is because you're just now trying to change your behavior. So even if you change your behavior to target a white man at this point, the reason you're in the situation you're in is because you're simply not a quality woman. And one just kept going. She went for like three. She's been going on for 3 days, and I just tell her, I say honestly, I could see a quality man not being interested in you because you're not coming off as an intelligent person. Because every argument you make is you're trying to down black men, but your problem is not with black men. Your problem is you're saying you're trying to get a white man. Black men aren't stopping you from that. So you need to learn how to focus on yourself. And the fact that you can't even pick up on such a little thing, that tells me you're gonna have a problem for a long time. Now of course I said all this without putting her down in any way, and she just kept trying to attack black men. My thing is that's a person highly in their feelings. And you're trying to push a narrative that you want, but you're not even making sense based on what the discussion is about. So
So
sometimes people let their feelings take them all off the deep end, and they don't really help themselves.
so with that being said, um, do you think that particular young lady, man, do you think in vendetta, or did she do that as a retaliation to things that she had heard on social media that black men said?
Honestly, it looks like it was total retaliation, because truly she want to be validated. And if you cannot attract the type of black man you want, but then you set your eyes and say, hey, I'm gonna choose a different kind of man, you're avoiding your actual problem. Your actual problem is your behavior. Because your behavior is what's keeping the quality man away from you of any group. So
Okay,
my
so
thing
you
is
can
she said,
tell. So just what they were saying, or what was going on?
well, I think just the fact that they say, well, we're going to improve so we can get a different type of guy to take interest in us. To me, that's being in your feelings. You still want the validation of a man, but you don't want to deal with the fact that the reason you don't have the validation you're looking for is your own behavior. So when someone addresses you about your behavior, you're reacting to the fact that you're being addressed about your behavior instead of saying, hey, let me look at what this guy is saying, because maybe if I do change, I can get a different result. So to me, you have to be in your feelings to ignore the base of a conversation, even though you're looking for your situation to change. That makes no sense to me. How could you not be in your feelings if you want your situation to change. And when someone tells you how to change it, you're not, instead of listening to what that person is saying, you're trying to talk about, me and other black men like that, which doesn't get you anywhere, Because my thing is, whatever your premise is, you could say anything about how bad black men are. That's not going to help any man be attracted to you as a person,
Oh.
Especially if you
All
say you
right.
want a quality man.
All right. A problem one day.
I doubt it,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Sometimes, like with people, sometimes with people, it takes a bit of self-reflection. But
yeah,
let's move along to Miss Rain. Um, okay, Miss Rain, you there? Miss
Yeah, I'm
Rain?
here.
Oh, okay. All right. The same question I asked Roger. How do you feel about the subject matter of black people on social media? And the reason why I'm saying black people for our viewing all three at any given time is why I say that is not just to poke fun at a certain group. I realize that with our people that we have certain triggers, and you can tell when you hit that trigger because it just turns into a shit show. So and okay, so Rain, what does that what is that statement like when black people when somebody says black people on social media are always in their fields? And after that, explain an experience where you really got somebody in their fields.
Oh my God. But so wait, you're asking like what do I think it means? Like black people are always in their feelings?
What comes to mind when you hear someone says black people on social media are always in their fields?
A lot of triggering, trolling, spewing of hate between black men and women and non-blacks and stuff like that. Like because a lot of times I feel like black people are the easiest to trigger online, especially yeah, the black race total, men and women. I feel like we're so easy to upset online behind a screen. We don't know how to control our emotions. Like we can say like somebody can say the silliest shit to us and boom, we're ready to report, talk about their kids, dogs, dead family members, like just go for the jugular instead of just taking a step back and just talking normal. I mean, you can roast somebody, like, but some people have taken it too far.
Well,
And
some people charge in with guns and
yeah,
bullets.
posting guns. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was speaking like more of a figurative way. Um, rhetorical, like people go in, they're going to a roast with their rival or whoever. They don't tell the best jokes and their rivals do. They get triggered and then they report. Um,
oh, I've been there, done that. I had to start blocking people. That shit ain't fun.
okay, yeah, it's not,
Oh,
and
I
it's
already know.
yeah,
Me and
it
my
just
friends, we used to terrorize people online, and it got so bad that like getting reported sucks. Like I remember, I think I had 3 pages in Facebook jail, 30-day ban. I was like, yo, that hurt. And then you don't want to make another account. Like, oh, that hurts.
yeah, and then people out there is like, why do you need more than one account? And why do you? And then I'm gonna answer that question because when you express yourself freely on anyone's platform, anybody's little feelings can get hurt at any time, whether you meant to or not. And it's like sometimes like social media is I guess in a game app addiction or something. And when you are on social media and you're looking to expand, yeah, it's somebody pisses you off, and then you get them back in retaliation. The thing they go do is they hit the report button, report, and plus some of the experience that some of us on this panel has had, like some of that actually went beyond social media because we've touched so many fields now. Donnie can back me up on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know exactly what the subject is. Black people in social media are always on their feelings and everything, and and it's just that it has caused us, me and you, Donnie, trouble in our personal lives as well as our social media lives,
Right.
and and when it has to get to that point, it becomes highly unnecessary. Like, somebody say something. Excuse me.
Oh,
No,
so no, I said uh-oh. Nicole just said in the chat.
Oh,
she
oh,
jumping on.
oh. What does I sent her an invite?
mm, I guess I'll ask. But you can continue. I'll find out.
Yeah, but while we're waiting on that, Mr. Casanova.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of known for having people in their feels and emotions and being real upset. I think typically people use as a Facebook, social media in general, Twitter, etc., as a sort of diary, um, and they don't understand that when they put their emotions, their diary type post up in an open forum, anybody can comment on it. So they get extra sensitive when an opposing opinion comes up or something contrary to the way they feel comes up, and people lose their shit. I see it all the time. Women do it, men do it. It'll be a dude on there who's posting, women ain't shit, da, 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 da. And then some girl comes on there with a counter post, and he loses his shit. He goes crazy. Same thing for women. Um, I've come across a lot of weirdos on the internet who don't know how to separate the internet from real life. I've had individuals try to get me fired from my place of employment. Um, I've had people post my address up, uh, run background checks, try to track me down, make threats, death threats, and none of it's obviously I'm still alive. Nobody's come showed up, but I think sometimes people just don't know how to separate thumb thumb messages from real life, and that's a problem. And I'll say that across the board: male, female, black, white, Hispanic, etc.
Because I mean, I've run into a variety of people. I've touched like fields across races, and I will say this before I formed the group. I used to go at a lot of white people, some Hispanics. It was just it was war with me just about every other day. Um, when when I formed that Facebook group, the focus shifted because I would catch so much flack just from creating that group. Now, here's create a Facebook group, groups, and people triggered by my existence. Man, I've been through this several times. Like, I showed up in a blurred group one time, and somebody knew me from the other group and started whining and complaining, trying to turn everybody against me on the post. I mean, and just like saying anything. Oh, he condones rape. He condones molestation. I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
With no basis whatsoever.
And then, like, when I started like defending myself, the and message me say, "Hey, like, for real, dude." Tone as soon as I showed up. I'm like, for real, dude, who's the fuck boy? You're like several states away. Fuck, He was like, oh man, well, what were you in this group for? Are you in this group to troll? I would say, I'm just in this group. I showed up on one post. People start attacking me. I can't defend myself. You boot me from the group before I can defend myself. He was like, oh, fam, man, I just don't think this is the group for you. I was like, fine, F your group then. My group is bigger anyway. Like, it's like, I hate trying to reach out and they make all these glaring assumptions to explain out me explaining or putting up a defense. That's why I always said, this is what I always said about the clone groups. I have to defend myself more than necessary because they think I got something to do with those clone groups too. But hey, you know what? It's all about, we have all these things about accountability and responsibility. Those groups exist because of me, period. Point blank, end of discussion. So, but I do also believe in individual accountability. I'm not putting words in people's mouths, just like I don't put words in. You say everything on your own. but like I said, it's like I'm an automatic trigger. Tapped into that talent since elementary school. Like I just have that ability to trigger people without, and half the time it ain't even my intention. So it's like, is either that maybe I need to stop being such a big asshole, or people need to stop being so sensitive. Because it's like my truth is a harsh truth. That's what it is. My truth is a harsh truth. And let's get to the first. Let's get to the okay. This is the whole, especially our people hate to hear the truth. Do you agree with that statement, panel, or not?
120%. I think that, especially in our culture, the less said about common decency and standards and stuff like that, the better. We just doing the best we can, and that's fine. You better not say nothing better. You can do better, because I may not be able to, and you need to just accept that and just praise me for what I do. That's good. No, I don't agree with
that. Okay, and before we go any further, let me give a shout out to a couple people I don't know if they're still watching or not. They dropped a couple comments. They're other YouTubers. Information Man Show. Definitely go check out his channel. He has some pretty good shows that that you can be informed and sometimes entertained by. And Charles Gilmore 3. Charles Gilmore is a super positive brother. Super positive. Yes, Information Man Show is he's watching right now. But yeah, like more look at his channel, and sometimes that positive, nothing bothers this guy. He's just a cheery guy. So, shout out to that guy too. So anyway,
I'd like to say shout out to Information Man real quick. I actually have seen him on a couple of different people's platforms. I enjoy a lot of what he has to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very, very intelligent man. Seriously. Yeah, but Rain, what about you? Do you agree that our people just really can't stand hearing the truth?
Oh yeah, wholeheartedly. They do not want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our people, they want to be baby, they want to be treated like kids. Like, it's okay, you'll be all right, like stuff like that. Like, no, we need to hear the truth. Like,
facts be.
Yeah, better for a short-term hurt now than a long-term hurt later. Finding out that
what's crazy is when shit happens to us, we're sitting there like, well, nobody said anything. What? Well, we tried, but we were coons and simps and haters and trying to hold y'all back and all that extra shit. Come on now, like, we tried. Like, the black people that do care about the community, we try to tell others, and they're not trying to hear that. And then it's like, oh, well, y'all are in y'all fields. You're doing them too much. You're doing the most. Okay, well, fuck you then.
Yeah, people do. I mean, I do feel like that to an extent, that we as the people do hate hearing the truth, and then a lot of us like to say that that person is being anti-black, which is really stupid to say something like you're being anti-black because you're not agreeing with us. And I've been called anti-black several times just because I won't agree with the general consensus, or I say stuff like there are tons of things that we need to improve in our own community. Now,
you know what? I look at it as children. Black people act like children all the time. Whenever you tell a child some shit that they're not doing correctly, hey, listen, you need to get back up in that shower. You didn't wash right. Da, da, da. Well, I did shampoo my hair. Nah, listen, we're not playing this game today. We're not playing this game today. You need to get back up in that shower and do this. Well, that's all I hear from black people on a constant basis. That's all I see when they have these conversations. If you tell somebody they're not doing something correctly and how they need to do it and how they need to improve, they get mad at you and say that you, what Kevin said, anti-black, you anti-child, huh? What?
Yeah, it's like negotiation with the straw man argument. Instead of face, they want to go with a straw man and just try to take you in a completely different direction.
I think that's exactly what a lot of folks do when it comes to them even accusing a person of being in their feelings. Because I do see that as a huge deflection, which means you're saying something. I realize what you're saying is correct, but I'm not going to acknowledge what you're saying is correct. So now I'm going to accuse you of being in your feelings, so you will stop trying to correct me. Because I really don't want, and I don't appreciate the fact that you would even take the time out your life to correct me. Because I don't really want people to love me that much. I'd rather people just let me be a knucklehead. That's just how I see
it. Yeah, I just wish Daddy let me walk around musty all day.
Yeah. I used to tell people all the time, if there's some inconsistency with me, like it can be something simple like, oh, Kev, your breath stank. Yeah, okay, cool, thank you. Now I can go get a piece of gum to fix that shit. Don't let me walk. A true friend will take breath stank. They won't lust.
But
anything else that say what?
I agree with that. I agree with that. Your friend would not let you just go out bogus in any kind of shape, way, or form if they do notice it. It's only somebody who means harm to you that will let you do that in front of them and not say anything.
Yeah. All right. Which brings me to my next talking point. We was talking about we mentioned that how people say certain things because like group think. Anyone thinking outside of group think. Do y'all understand the meaning of group think?
Yeah. Well, break it down because somebody ain't listening.
Shut up.
No, I mean somebody listening don't understand it, so we'll do it for their benefit.
Okay.
Rain told on herself, but
just kind of a hive mind. Everybody has to think the same. There's another word they use for it. Kind of it's not autonomous.
Monolithic thought process.
Monolithic think. Yeah, monolithic thought process. Monolithic thought process. Basically, there's a lot of we're supposed to be in this monolithic thought process. Now, I would agree that there might need to be more unity on our part as far as us as a race and a group. Like, because I mean, I don't like to bring up the other races do it too stuff. I don't like to do it because it's like every time somebody brings up other races do it too, it's try to deflect from the fact that we fucked up.
It's justification. It's not bullshit.
Yeah, it's justification for bullshit. It's never other races do it too. And we're looking at how economics. We never say that. Say other races do it too as a deflection from some bullshit. Now the group think mentality. What do you think that we can do to fix that? And to it's like encourage more people to be free thinkers and to step outside the box and don't get mad when someone doesn't think like everyone else. What is that? Do we need to have more open minds? What's going on?
I think it needs to start from how a child is raised. you start trying to get somebody out there group think pattern at 45, it's going to be a hard sell. But if you raise a child to be their own person from Jump Street, you have less to worry about as they get older. What do they say? You raise a tree up properly, you don't have to worry about it, being bent and crooked, trying to correct the flaws in it later. So I think it starts from from being raised as a child.
Yeah. Speaking of raising children, I just started playing that new God of War today.
With Atreus.
yeah, with Atreus. Yeah, I mean, I'm just in like the first 30 minutes, but it's visually stunning. Little
Oh yeah, it's
father
good.
son type. Yeah.
It's good. Them
So
Valkyries is hard though. I haven't been able to beat them damn Valkyries. I think Hank was beat a few of them, but I can't fuck with them Valkyries.
yeah, I've been able to conquer everything on God of War, but I'll see what I can do with that one as soon as I really get into it. But let's stay on topic. We're talking about the groupthink mentality. Yeah, that's so Rain. So groupthink mentality. When have you seen it? Now I'm gonna probably say something that probably is gonna get a couple of people mad.
Oh God.
But
Explain the groupthink mentality.
I see basically thinking like a group thinking from a monolithic perspective. You know, groupthink is basically defined as okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I may think a certain way, I may think different, but I'm gonna go with the general consensus just to keep the peace. One group of monolithic thinkers I do think is a large portion of Western women. I hear a lot of women say gender first, gender then race. I don't necessarily agree race is black, then that means that I'm willing to stand side by side with Asian men. I'm willing to stand side by side with white men to help solve black problems. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that at all. And I mean, like, I understand that things are a struggle for women, in America somewhat, but it's like I think that we could get more fault. Like I think we can get further as a people helping each other out, trying to go to other, like instead of I don't know, am I wrong? Or am I right? Should we be thinking race first instead of gender first? That's and I know that's a very I know that's very dicey when you talk to certain women about that because they have the understanding that
Man.
Yeah, that.
Man. I'm not a fan of intersectionality at all. I think it's bullshit as far as black people go because we are constantly fighting battles for everybody else and we don't get nowhere. So we spinning our wheels in the mud and we're not going nowhere. Everybody's passing us. So we fighting for the right to white gay males, the LGBT community, and they're still surpassing us and they're becoming minorities, getting our benefits, our set asides, and getting a foothold in this land of this culture, should I say, and getting ahead while we're still sitting here crazy. Well, I'm a gay man first. I'm a woman first. Cool. Now the white woman is ahead of you. The gay white man is ahead of you, and your black ass is still sitting in the corner. But you stand with the gays. Good for you.
I think I agree with that. Like people, I feel like this is really about to be bad. So what I'm about to say, but I don't care. Like people want me to feel bad for these families, and I feel somewhat bad for the kids, but for the immigrants at the border,
no, fuck that.
like getting detained and stuff. Oh, we need to do something. We got to stand up for them. No, we don't. No, it's enough of them. They can stand up for each other. Black people need to stop jumping in other races' affairs, and we need to work on ourselves before we try to help everybody else. Because what if we help them? I don't see them same people trying to help us when one of us gets shot or something happens to one of us or any of us actually. That's it. Like what's that story about the little Spanish kid in New York that was killed like for no reason by them gang members with the machete and stuff. That was very
Lysandro
messed up.
something.
Yeah, that was very messed up. But everybody's like, "Oh, we need to stand up and help them." No, no, the Spanish community got it. They got it. They don't need us. They want us because hey, the more the better. But we don't have to jump in everybody else's shit. They don't jump in. I'm sorry. I'm gonna speak. I'm just gonna say it. They don't jump in our shit. They don't be like, "Oh, we gotta help the blacks." No, you don't ever hear that. You don't ever see that.
I'll take it a step further. It's some black Latinos, some Afro Latinos who want to separate themselves quick as a motherfucker. Hey, listen, papi. I'm not black, papi. I'm Spanish, papi. Uh,
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'm
Rod,
gonna
do
look at it
you?
like I was gonna say, groupthink I mean, it's really dangerous in my opinion because when you have a certain group of people that thinks one way and you aren't allowed to think any other way, then you whatever problems exist, that means your problem is going to carry on. Because if you had groupthink during slavery, that means we still be slaves now, and everybody be fine with it. You know, so now groupthink is horrible. I'm just going to touch on that what y'all was saying earlier because it really irks me. Just for the fact that y'all mentioned the white people do it too thing, I absolutely hate that. I just got to get this out. I absolutely hate that because it's just a form of worshiping white people. It just lets me know white supremacy is really still affecting our people because if we actually say if white people do it too, we're giving that as a clearance, which means white people are your bar. And as long as I can do what white people do, then I should be okay. And I really expect other people to accept my BS as long as I say white people do it. So that, I mean, it's so much praise and glory that you give them to white people at that particular point. To me, that's like worshiping a god. So I absolutely hate that part. But I'm against groupthink because you you can't really improve too much if everything you do is attached to I can't say it unless I think everybody else is going to agree with me because you can't really improve any real situation at that point in life. You're stuck. That's my feelings on
Mm,
I feel you.
Stockholm group.
I feel like sometimes, but you know, that when it comes to the whole thinking that like other races do it too, I feel like black people. Okay, I'll say this. A lot of times when black people say that, they're saying it to individuals that probably has, hypothetically speaking, has or yeah, that has degraded black people and praised the other race. Like, oh, white women, black women wear weave. They're the only race that buy weave, which we all know it's not true. But I feel like, and then they'll get what's crazy is they'll get a white woman that will have weave in their head and won't even know it. And that I've seen that happen where somebody be on the post, well, white women wear weave too. Like that white lady, that white woman you're showing has a weave in her head, and they'd be like, oh well, we're not talking about white women right now. We're talking about black women, which I get it, but you can't just attack one. Well, I mean, yeah, you can. You can attack this one. Hmm. Let me rethink that. Y'all got it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't agree that. I mean, if you shut out one group for another group and they do the exact same thing, that's kind of stupid to try to sit there and explain your case, so to speak. Yeah, I just sent Nicole an invite. She should be coming on very shortly. Let me see.
Who did we
Oh,
lose? Did we lose somebody? Oh, okay. I was like, what? Oh, okay.
and
Well,
and
go ahead.
and Cole, how you doing? Thanks for
How are
coming.
you?
Huh? What'd you say?
How are you? I'm putting on my headset.
Oh, okay. There's no need to apologize. You're a guest here. Okay, so just basically the subject matter is black people on social media are always in their fields. Okay, since they've already answered the other questions, Nicole, can you give us a brief summary on what you think as to why our people are always in their fields on social media?
What does that mean in their fields?
In their fields, trigger, going overboard,
Very
you
emotional and
know,
not thinking logically.
Oh,
emotional.
gotcha.
Yeah, wanting to do stuff like harass your family members, stuff like that.
Oh, I know all about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I went through that. I had to actually press charges against a bunch of people. I was getting like over 300 messages. I'm surprised I could even get that many. So I think that I call them Facebook warriors. Like they get on there and they do things that they would want to do in real life, but that becomes their life. They get very in. They get very involved with that, and then they go too far. And I just think that since they can't fight out there in the world, it's a safe place to kind of vent or let your anger go.
Mm. Yeah, you've gotten some people in their fields to the point where is something actually had to be done, but that you don't have to tell that story on the air.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
no,
What in
no,
your
this,
feels is that like in your feelings? Like if you had to like use a different word, would that be the same thing?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay,
feeling, same thing, just
I get, I got it.
like I was talking about. Yeah, I was talking about earlier, like how I triggered somebody so bad they prank called my wife, saying that she was
Whoa.
pregnant, and yeah, that it was that kind of like bitch was weird. That's all I can say.
Oh
But
yeah, that's like wait, that's not cool.
yeah, like I could show you some screenshots of some inboxes of people who like just, oh fuck you motherfucker, blah blah blah. I mean, like I got at least like 30, 40 inboxes like that.
What did you say? Like what was the topic that made them so upset? Or is it just like whatever?
No,
That's
no,
what they
no.
told
It
me.
would
Like,
be they'll break rules in the group, like they'll start posting family members or something, or start joking about rape, or one of our
right.
things, blocking
Oh,
an
your
ad.
admin. Okay, okay, I got it. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, or blocking an ad, man. It's like, okay, well, you can't break rules. We got to do yada yada. Next thing you know, they're in my inbox. Fuck you, motherfucker. Blah blah blah. You
Wow.
ain't shit. I was like, dude, it's not that serious. All you had to do was follow. Okay. Here's the next round.
Hmm.
Um, when people say that they're not in their fields when they're clearly in their fields.
Wow, that's an interesting thing that you just said.
Yeah, I get that all the time. Well, I don't get it all the time. I get it when it goes conversations called for it. Oh, I say, why are you in your fields? Man, I'm not in my field. What the hell make you think I'm in my fields? I say, well, all the belligerent cursing you're doing. Man, y'all just want me to be mad. Y'all fields. Like, get the fuck, you're in your fields. Stop. Shut up.
That is
So,
so funny.
so how often do y'all run into that,
Wait,
panelists?
Wait,
Yeah, I
what?
I get it all the time. That's a constant basis of my reality online. I stopped commenting so much because I be having motherfuckers upset and they want to deny it. You always know that somebody's in their feels when you try to have like a calm conversation and they immediately go to you ain't shit, your dick little. Hey, how do you know that, ma'am? How do you know that? Well, because you said what the antithesis of what I was saying. Oh, okay.
Oh, so you just in your
that's
fields
funny.
because you disagree.
Okay, terrible.
So what can we do? What can we do to fix these fields? I mean, do we not make our talking points? Are we sensitive to the other side? Do we stop talk? What is it? What do we do? What do we do to stop drumming up all these fields? Yeah, or is there a way
Honestly,
to
I
stop
think
them?
I think you gotta keep pressing the truth. Unfortunately, a lot of a lot of folks that have not had to deal with the truth because when you look at mainstream media, a lot of stuff is not said because people advertise and people want their product sold. So there's certain things that the mainstream media has not said, and because black people follow mainstream media, and we look at celebrities like they're demigods, and you know, we feel like we do have to belong to a group, and it's just a natural thing that people want to feel significant. When you start putting all that stuff together, you know, people are going to try to push that group think, and they're going to say you're in your feelings when you think outside the box. But honestly, with a lot of things that go on in America, black people really should be thinking outside the box because when rules are set in place, a lot of rules are set in place to damage us, and rules that are in place that could affect anybody, the way they are enforced is to damage us. So for a black person to be good with groupthink, that tells me right there they're just not used to processing information well on their own. They've been taught they've been taught what to think instead of how to think, and they're comfortable with that type of situation, you know, because coming up with your own conclusion actually takes a little bit of effort sometimes, you know, and if you're not used to it, it can feel heavy to you, you know. People don't want to go through the trouble of thinking and coming up with a real conclusion on their own, you know. And people are worried about, you know, they're worried about being scorned for whatever conclusion they come up with. But I think the best thing to do is keep pushing the truth on people because you can't really fix anything unless you identify the thing that needs to be fixed. And if we refuse to make that identification, who's it really gonna help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. I got a question for the panel. All right. First for the men on the panel, and then for the women on the panel. Okay, men. When you hear another black man being talked about for his I would say his negative behavior, his shortcomings, his lack of success, his criminal mind, when you hear that man being talked about, do you identify with that person? Do you feel black men are being talked about instead of that individual?
As a whole?
Well, well, here's what I'm trying to say. Okay, when a scrupulous black man is being talked about, do you feel offended as a black man to hear that black man being talked about?
It depends on.
I don't identify with losers, so I'm not gonna get offended personally because I just don't identify with losers. Now, what I will say something depending upon the source that it's coming from, but that's really if I'm dealing with non-black people because you know when they're discussing black people, I got to see what context they're coming from. But if it's amongst black people now, there's no way for me to be offended because I just don't identify with losers. Point blank, period.
Hmm.
I mean, I feel the same way. It depends upon who is giving it, who is speaking this narrative. Is it a narrative? Is this a fact? Is it like where is the basis for this? So if they'll say, you know, person X is, you know, he's a criminal, he's a deadbeat dad, he's a this. Do we have proof on this? Are you just saying this because he's a black man? A lot of times we have conversation where this whole narrative is what is it? Cis hetero men. So straight black men are ruining the culture. So they always have something negative to say about straight black men.
Yeah. Somebody tried to do that to me like some months ago. Say, Kevin, yeah, you're cisgender. Yeah,
right.
You're
What the heck is
cisgender thinking.
that?
I was like,
That's a
like,
new term feminists came up. Seems like feminists came up with to insult black men. It's basically you're trying to say there's a straight black men, but you're gonna give it a term that sounds feminine to be insulting to men.
Right. So if it's the case of like R. Kelly, and they say, you know, R. Kelly, he a pedophile, he this, that, and the third. Hey, listen, at this point, everybody knows this is kind of one of the open secrets of the black community. I'm gonna go ahead and have to just be like, yeah, shit, it is what it is. He's terrible. He's a horrible person. But another occasion is Offset. Granted, he was fucking off with what's her name, Cardi B. That's that whole situation. I think recently he went to one of her shows basically got on stage and did the whole little plea bargain. There was an article written, and the article basically stated that are black men toxic, and are they pushing a culture of abuse and messing with women? I felt like that was just totally out of pocket. I feel like he was a fuck up who was trying to get his woman back. I don't feel like that should be on all black men. Because contrary to popular belief, black men don't cheat.
What'd you say? I missed that last part, or I heard it incorrectly.
He said black men don't cheat, and when you're speaking in general, that will be a correct statement because most black men do not cheat. And yes, there are some that do, but most of them actually do not. So it still would be a correct statement.
Okay.
Now my thing about Offset, I mean, he was, a married man making a plea to his wife when, to my understanding, he did not actually commit infidelity. He was just entertaining someone. The thought was there, but he never went through it.
No, that nigga was
still cheating though.
She's pregnant.
I'm saying okay, well, I didn't know that, but even if he did commit, there's nothing wrong with a man saying, that's his wife. It's not like this is just some random chick. This is his wife. Any man making a plea to his wife to fix his situation at home, there's nothing wrong with that. And for someone to try
well, in that situation, it's a lot wrong with that. He went about it wrong.
No, it's a lot wrong with what he did. It's not nothing wrong with. Wrong. Yeah, what he did was wrong, but trying to get your woman back without doing anything crazy is not wrong.
No, he did do something crazy, interrupting her show in the middle of her performing. I
mean, that's one of those grand gestures that moved from a movie that women love. It was a grand gesture.
That was out of pocket.
Because
he should have.
Dudes will show up at your job.
That was the case. He should have did it after the show was about to end. They know when it's about to end. Just do it when she's about to get off stage. Boom.
But he was trying to do something public because he messed up in the eyes of the public. He embarrassed her in front of the public, so it's only intelligent for him to apologize and to make his plea in front of the public.
Right.
I mean, it still would have been in public if he would have waited till her show was over with, and she's doing the last whatever goodbye.
Celebrities always do outrageous stuff, though.
But I also feel like that was also a stunt because they both got the same publicist. If she didn't really want that nigga there, you think he would have shown up? No. So I think the publicist walked him out there, so they knew what was going on. This shit was crazy. I just don't feel like that should be a situation where all black men are toxic and because that man is trying to get his wife back or a possible publicity stunt. I don't exactly know what the hell is going on with that situation, but
that's what I heard. I heard that there's a huge possibility that was a publicity stunt. But if they get divorced, I don't see how Offset is losing because he's supposed to be getting $50 million if he divorces her. But I guess money ain't everything.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not. And I'm going to say this, as far as toxic, black men are only toxic if you're a feminist because you are totally against black men at that point. If you're a black feminist, you can be toxic as a black man because feminists don't really at least don't publicly like to acknowledge that they like masculinity. Therefore, masculinity becomes toxic to them. If you're not a feminist, masculinity is not going to be toxic to you.
I don't know. I think that I see what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't know if I can fully agree with that because of the number of abusive relationships there are in the Western world.
But abusive relationships have nothing to do with masculinity. People are abusive. Females are abusive to men. That has nothing to do with you could just unless we're gonna say they're acting like men. Now we're gonna place all abuse on men. Then we got to say that the women are acting man-like. But there's a lot of women that are very abusive to men.
Yeah, and that's why masculinity can't ever match up with a female. That's when masculinity becomes toxic, when a female tries to use it. But the point I was trying to make was that abusive males are seen as toxic. But you're
nobody's advocating.
There was no wrong with saying an abusive male is toxic, but But my thing is, being male can't make you toxic. No, men don't like men being abusive to women. You know what I'm
No.
saying? We don't. No one wants another man to be abusive to his wife, to his girlfriend, to his sister, to his auntie. Men don't like that, and men regulate stuff like that when women tell. But a lot of women just don't tell because they like the abuse. Now I know people
Oh,
gonna say they
that's like
don't.
crazy.
I know people gonna say they don't like the
Yeah.
abuse, but
They
you like
don't.
what you always
No,
involve
they
yourself
don't.
in.
There's something called
Okay,
better women syndrome. You should read about it first.
nah,
Oh boy.
it's not gonna change my mind. If I play video games 20 as much as I can per day, I can't keep saying I don't like video games after some point.
That's not the same though. That
What the fuck, Roger?
And run that one more time because I didn't quite hear
that's
that
not a
one.
like
I'm saying
Duracell. You probably
if I
shouldn't really correct that.
let's just say I play video games 10 hours per day, and yet I say I don't like playing video games. How many days in a row can I play them for 10 hours a day, and you believe the claim that I don't like
So how does that have to do with better women syndrome?
I guess he's trying to
with
like.
no,
Hold on?
no,
Isn't
what I'm
better
saying is
women syndrome an abuse form of like Stockholm syndrome?
Let me type this in.
man,
Kinda.
So
What I'm saying is to say that the women like it is not really fair. If they don't have the resources to leave, and they do love the guy, they don't like the abuse, and they try to change it. It's a cycle because the guy becomes nice after he abuses a woman, like really nice, and it becomes like a dance. You know what I mean? Like dance,
if you're in a
but
like
third
a
world country,
cycle.
if you're in a third world country, I totally
No, the
understand.
United States
But if you're in
and
America,
no, you can't just leave. You can't just leave. How do you guys know? Have you ever been in that situation? Not that
no, no,
I
no, no,
have,
no.
but
The thing, no. The thing is, no matter who's been involved in it, you actually can leave.
no, you
You
can't
actually
though.
have the
I
ability.
disagree.
No, no.
I
People
disagree.
have the ability to leave. It's only about if
No,
they want
guys
to
become
leave.
stalkers. Guys become
No,
stalkers,
no.
and
I
they do
understand. I
too. They
Hey, hey,
do.
understand
y'all,
that.
hey, y'all,
And if
hey,
a
y'all.
person pushes far enough, you just do something about it.
Let me let me
Point
let
blank.
me
But you
Period.
can't all the
let
time.
me stop. Let me stop y'all right there because we had this conversation last week,
Hmm.
and it got a
Okay.
bit long. And we got a bit long with.
Okay.
Go ahead and
Okay. You're right. It's okay that he's wrong though. I don't mind ending on that note.
disagree.
ah,
Topic.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm not saying
let's just
anything about it.
Not you can believe I'm wrong, but proof is always in the pudding.
I just want to say I'm
Yeah.
playing Red Dead Redemption right now, and more shots are on this call than in this game.
okay. All right. All
Y'all.
right. Okay. Now. I did ask the men this question a minute ago. Do you identify whenever someone is talking about basically a pookie? Yeah. And let me tell you. And let me tell y'all something. There's a lot of pookie out there right
Hmm.
now. I don't marginalize or stereotype people. Being pookies on what I think they did and who I think they are. I don't marginalize. I base somebody being on a pookie on their actions. So
Okay.
you could talk about stereotypes all you want, but when you do things like snatching old ladies' purses, getting women pregnant and not taking care of the child, can't stay away from being locked up. Period. Now, if you talk like a pookie and say you're a pookie, you must have been in jail or some shit, and you're like, no, I'm a multimillionaire. Here's my credentials. Then I will admit in front of everybody that I'm wrong.
Nah, hell no, because this is a multimillionaire
Okay.
pookies.
There's a
Yeah, that's what I was
multi
told too. I was told that my
multimillionaire
kids' dad
pookies.
was still a pussy.
Nah,
So so
I wouldn't say you're a multi-millionaire pookie because a pookie is not really a responsible person in general. Now, a multi-millionaire can be an a-hole, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But that's way different than a pookie.
I feel
Agreed.
like Future is a pookie.
Ah, okay. I agree. That is a boogie.
I
all
feel like Shorty Low when he was alive was a supreme pookie.
right,
All my baby
R.I.P.
mamas, he
yeah,
got 9 of them. I got the baby mama that like to fight. I got the baby mama that braid hair. Nah, nigga, just sit down.
yeah, yeah. Now. This is an identity question for the women, and yeah, I think y'all know where I'm about to go with this.
I
Oh
don't.
God, this is about to be ugly. Go ahead.
I don't know where you're about to go with it. Where?
Yeah. Because I see it all the time in social media, Facebook groups, and all that other stuff. I see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when men and black woman, then it seems like black women do get heated and offended by it.
With the
Okay,
sound cut
let's.
out.
You cut out. You cut out. You keep cutting out here.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just saying, it does seem like no matter what black woman you talk to, black women do have a tendency to get offended in unison when you say something
Yes,
about
they
that black
do.
woman.
Yeah,
But
the black women do
let's
get that. I agree.
yeah, let
100%.
me let me say it like this. If
Uh-huh.
Oprah said something stupid and she said something stupid,
Mm-hmm.
then guess what? I got plenty of pushback to face because like we have a tendency to give celebrities these Jesus complexes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they're the second comment or some shit. And if you say something like, well, they may be a smart person, but I don't agree with that person,
Mm-hmm.
then I get the pushback. I get the you a hater. So I'm like,
Okay.
okay, let me put it like this. If I say something like Tiffany Haddish isn't that funny, which I don't think she is.
She's
I
not.
don't. I think.
That's your
I
opinion.
think.
Yeah.
I think she's. I think she's crass.
She's problematic.
I think she is. I think she's extra and turn this around on me. Guys like Eddie Murphy, they were vulgar and they cursed too. I'm like, Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy were actually funny though. They were actually funny. They had audiences rolling, but
Right.
but it just does seem that way. So, like, why is that? Why is it?
Can I just say, Tiffany Haddish, in my opinion, is a problematic. Every character she plays is a real ratchet and hood rat. The only character I can only give her any kind of kudos for is the character from Night School, where she was working with them special people and helping them children to progress and everything else. That's the only character I ever seen and liked from her, but everything else was ridiculous. Go ahead.
Wow.
I kind of like Tiffany Haddish and Keanu.
I haven't seen that one.
I don't know any of them. I don't know who they. I know who Tiffany is, but I never listened to them.
I haven't watched anything of her.
Keanu's who?
I couldn't tell you.
Keanu is a Key and Peele movie. It was the name of Jordan Peele's character's cat.
Oh,
like,
see, I don't know movies. So,
oh, that's the movie where she was. Well, I just a spoiler, but now, I see that as a whole CO narrative.
Let me say this about
TV bores me.
Let me say this about Tiffany Haddish. To me, Tiffany Haddish is somewhat funny because she basically plays a ratchet black woman mostly, but the only issue with Tiffany Haddish is because she's such a focal point because younger black women aren't really out and they're not really on the scene in Hollywood. And don't get me wrong, I think she's about 38 herself, but Hollywood has a way. If you're a young, attractive black woman, you can get roles up till you become like a woman. Like if you're a girl, you can get roles. You hit about 21, 22, then you disappear to you like in your late 30s because it's like Hollywood is not really trying to promote an attractive black woman. So, you know what I'm saying? They don't want little boys to have a crush on an attractive black woman that's steady getting jobs and getting work. You see what I'm saying?
But Halle Berry used to do it.
How old was Halle Berry when she was doing it? Think about it. Halle Berry's an old woman.
Wait a
minute. You talking
in Hollywood terms.
But when you bring up one
in
person,
Hollywood terms,
like not...
Halle Berry did.
No, I'm saying.
You know what? That was
how old was she when she played those roles?
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying she's not attractive. What I'm saying is think about how old she was when she was playing certain roles. And if you think about ask boys who they like when they were growing up, it's hard to pick an attractive black young lady that was on screen on a regular basis.
Megan
you know, when I grew up,
Halle Berry
Megan Good disappeared for a while herself.
Isla Pratt.
Who?
Tyler
Pratt? Hell no. Please no.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
She was the big head girl from 101. She had a TV show where she was. That girl's head was big. If you ever watched the show, they only had her at certain camera angles. Her head was huge.
What was the name of the character?
It was one-on-one. I can't remember, but it was with Flex
Yeah, she
Washington,
wasn't that the show
and
didn't
she was
last
the
that long,
child.
and she wasn't memorable, right? She
But
was
she was
playing
on
a
other
child.
things. Christina Milian. Let's
Christina
see.
And
Milian was the
that's what I'm saying.
singer. She
Are we
did
talking
good.
about the
She
When
did
90s? Or
a
are we talking
song
about
here and there. That's
are
not
we
She
like
ta-
did movies.
are we talking about the
Um,
90s or are we talking about the early 2000s
no,
now?
I'm
I
saying
went
you could
2000.
pick any time you like. When black women hit about 22 years old, they're gonna
Okay.
disappear for a while,
what I'll
Halle
and they
say
Berry
come
was
back
is
in their
Halle
late 30s.
right
Halle
now.
Berry
I'm
Halle
sticking to
Berry
Halle Berry because she's been in movies from. I'm looking at it right now from
Halle
'89
Berry
up
wa-
until now.
Halle
So
Berry
if
was a
she did a
classic
movie
black
every
woman back in
single
the
But
day.
that's
year,
You
one out
had
of how
Jada
many
Pinkett
though?
back in the day.
but
But
it's
once we hit a
one
certain
a
line,
There's one.
these black women disappeared. So if you look at them from
Mm-hmm.
Precious onward, they had a whole narrative of the sassy, fat,
Yeah, you're right.
crazy looking black woman. But the Halle Berry's died out. You see Halle Berry now, she's in these WWE movies. Like Halle Berry's
Who
not
Oh
making
my god.
no big movies right now. You know, the
who
Pam
who
Greers are gone.
Look at you.
who's the three hot around 25-year-old black women? Who's those three hot black women right now?
Jesus.
Right
Three of them,
now.
just
Round
around
25.
somewhere around 25 years old. They hot
Wait,
right now.
but
How old is Tessa Thompson? Fuck.
Who
What
is
is her
Tessa
she?
name?
Thompson is mixed.
I wanna what?
Who is she? I don't
The
even know
black
who she
woman?
is.
Are we
Not
done?
not
Tessa
not saying that
Thompson.
she's not black, but she's a mixed
Well,
woman, so
fuck
I feel
you.
like they elevate her a little bit better,
Tessa
more so
Okay,
than
well,
Thompson.
anything else.
who's? Oh, Tessa Thompson, one that was in Creed. Okay, so who the three black women?
I just think I
I
watch so many movies. Hold on. Goddamn. I
I'm
yeah,
wish
saying
I.
Tessa Thompson.
the fact that you got to think about it this hard has already proved my point.
Cause
Black women
No,
disappear.
it's not. It's just I watch a lot of movies. I just sit there and be thinking
Okay,
about
The
women in
numbers are
well,
movies.
in proportionate to the white women though. Like you can bring up a couple black people, but it doesn't compare to the white people. And so
I'm,
it's
my
like
yeah,
thing
that
is,
comparison.
I'm not
Oh,
even
I
trying
couldn't
to
even
compare them to
really
other
I'm
put
groups.
the
just
My thing is, I
I'm
just see
just
a
talking about the
pattern of they.
numbers. Like that's what you'll see. You'll see
No,
even if you could pull out one black woman, it doesn't compare to what's going on.
well, my thing is that is understandable because they're
I'm
not our
agreeing with
shows.
you.
We don't, no, I'm not saying you're disagreeing. I'm saying it's
Yeah.
understandable to me that the numbers are going to be skewed because white folks own that stuff. But I'm just saying if you pay attention, black women do disappear for a while. I'm not
That's
saying
what
they
I
don't ever
said.
come
Even if you
back,
choose
but they never
one
disappear.
woman, that's what I'm saying. Even if you choose one, it doesn't disprove what you're saying. That's just one compared to how many.
I think all of the well known or the well like black women. By the way, Tessa Thompson ain't 25, but all the well like black women that they show or they put on TV are mixed. Would you have Paula Patton? Paula Patton was in Mission Impossible, right? Everybody was on her. She's a mixed woman, and not to disparage mixed women. I think they try to spread a narrative of you are that much more attractive if you have some Caucasian blood in you.
That is the narrative that they paint, and you can't be based on Hollywood standards. You can't be attractive and black and young at the same time. That's my point. They'll give you jobs again when you're 35. They'll give them to you again. But
Okay, what
when you
about
about
Gabrielle
22,
Union?
they're
She has
gonna
jobs. What about
When
who?
Gabrielle
About who?
Union is in every angry black woman trying to fight movie out
Kerry
there.
Washington?
Kerry Washington
Fuck, Elite.
was
Well,
a bed
Aaliyah
wench
was
on
in
TV
movies,
for
but she
years.
died.
Hold on.
I'm trying to
I'm
think
talking
of
about people under
people.
35.
Look at the roles they put Kerry Washington in. She's the
I don't remember
president's
Gabrielle
side
Union
chick.
playing anything when she was young. She got to Bring It On and then just
Okay, hold on, because I got a computer. I'm gonna just type it in.
Gabrielle Union was
Pull it up.
I'm a movie buff, so I can. Gabrielle Union was in DMX's movie "Deliver Us from Eva," a couple of them. Long story short, I dated. Never mind. I'm not even going into that. But
and that was like a black film.
uh,
Oh,
"Deliver Us from
let's
Eva."
see.
Wasn't
Yeah, it
that a
was a
black
black
film?
film.
yeah, it was.
I haven't seen these
DMX had a
movies.
movie she was in. I think it was Cradle to the Grave, maybe.
Cradle to the
Um,
Grave. Yeah, Cradle to the
Yeah, another
Grave.
black film.
Bad Boys too.
yeah,
Damn,
Bad Boys.
Gabrielle Union was in a lot of shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
But the
I
majority of her
mean, yeah,
movies were.
Gabrielle Union has, but if she's in a black film, she wasn't in a black film. She
um,
disappeared basically because
no,
Even the
remember
no.
narrative
Hollywood
that they
does
put
not
out.
classify black film as like a major thing. It's like those films are for black people.
Oh,
Even the
okay.
narratives
So
that they put
They
out
don't even
when they put out
advertise them in
movies
white
and they
areas a
give
lot
you
of times.
Oscars,
She was
when they give
doing
you
other
Oscars,
things. She was doing TV shows and movies. And
Yeah,
a lot
she
of
had
them, 7th Heaven, he was in that shit from
which one?
96 to 90, 99. 7th Heaven, everybody knows 7th Heaven.
The
I don't
TV
know
show
who
with the
that person
pedophile
is.
I think, yeah, the White Family TV show.
I
Like,
had a TV show about
Oh, I
wild.
don't get it.
with the pedophile.
like
Wow.
she's been in movies, so she's another one. And under 20, well, around that 25 age group, because she's going back to 93. How old is she now?
Like I said, after the 2000s, it was
No,
pretty
no.
much a wrap. They had Day
I,
Precious, and
I,
it was a wrap. If you remember, they
I'm
put Precious
saying
up.
black women they'll get work until they're about 22, but then they disappear. So I'm not saying you can't find stuff in their background. They do get work, but then once they hit around 21, 22, it's like they'll disappear till they're about 35. I'm not
Yeah,
saying you can't find old stuff on them.
she's still
Regina
going
King,
strong.
Viola Davis, they were all out and about when they were younger. Then they disappeared and came back. Geez, shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
like,
like when Rogers attack on black women. I swear it's a everyday
I'm not
thing.
attacking. I'm not attacking black women. What I'm
Like,
saying is, take notice that Hollywood don't give a damn
Yeah, he's pointing out white supremacy.
attacking them at all.
No, you're right. I know. I knew that got it. Oh, I won't say the direct, but yeah, they don't. But it's not just because of the reasons you think. Oh,
black?
yeah.
But see, they spread the narrative. Anything with a black
yeah,
woman, with a full black woman, it's a negative. They gave what is that man?
I know. I
I'm
hung
sorry,
out
the
with those
woman.
people. I heard their views.
What's the woman? She's now a woman. Caitlyn Jenner. They gave
Oh,
this
the
man.
Jenner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they gave him one or her, whatever. They gave that person woman
Yeah.
of the year over Serena. So that was a slap in the face to all black people. They put up Precious as what woman of the year, whatever it is, beauty of the year, black woman as the black standard. Now, I'm not trying to disparage black women, but Precious was morbidly obese. There was no reason for that woman to be up as the standard bearer for black women. It's just ridiculous. I
no,
think
She's not
I agree with
unattractive
that.
though.
that
Wait,
that woman is
that's not
morbidly
unattractive.
obese. That's unhealthy. I
Okay.
get the whole BBW aspect, but that woman was
She's
morbidly
losing
like
weight.
yeah, now currently, but at the time she was fresh off of Precious, big like
Oh, okay.
yeah, that like it was a shame. Like she's losing
So I was
weight
like, now
now,
she looks good. Yeah.
right?
They made her look more homely for Precious. I mean, she's not like a beauty queen, but I still think she's cute.
But that's what they always do to black people. They always push these narratives of dysfunction in the black community
So
and try to
yeah.
make it as a wonderful story. What's the movie they just came out with? Moonlight. Well, I guess they ain't just came out with it, but Moonlight was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. White people love that shit. They couldn't get enough of it.
What is it
It
about? How do you guys watch all these movies? I don't have time for that. What is that
I
about?
I'm a movie buff. Basically, Moonlight was about and it's a spoiler. It's about a little gay boy who grew up. His mama was a crackhead, and he was getting beat up at school. So he ran away, and the neighborhood dope dealer took care of him and made him feel special and try to send him on a path.
Oh, brother. Oh, see, sir.
Yeah. So and they put it in 3 acts. So they put it as him as a child. Him as a child, he's getting beat up, and his mom was a crackhead. Him as I guess an adolescent, he's dealing with his sexuality, and then him as an adult male, he's basically on the down low, living in Atlanta with a gold grill. And
Yeah,
so
you kind of get tired of the narrative. Yeah.
and
It's,
and it wasn't even a story where I felt like he learned something. No, it was just he's just a regular gay man, and this is just life. Movie's over. Wait, what?
well, they're pushing a lot of the gay roles on black men for some reason, but the black guys are taking them. It's kind of interesting.
You know what? Francis
Where
Christian
is
said they was
Roger
trying to
at now?
feminize black men. They've been trying to feminize black men for years. They said they was going they dropping men's pants lower and lower, and eventually they're gonna have them step into a dress. And a few
Well,
years ago, niggas was running
the
around.
stopping, you're right. Stop and frisk with a kiss. Cops can kiss the guys in New York. Kind of freaky.
Who?
Stop and frisk with a kiss. That program.
No,
So
what the hell is stop and frisk with a kiss?
With a kiss?
Yeah, with the kiss. So the what?
Wait a minute, Jesus. Wait
That's
a
what it's
minute,
called. So
Jesus.
the cops, they were saying that they did that to get closer to the black community. And what happens is, even before that would just stop and frisk, they would literally like touch the guy, your junk. And then if the guy reacted, they'd say he'd resist, and then they would either kill him or beat him up and take him to jail, and he would get the felony.
But let's
So
talk
the
about
kiss
this
was,
kiss. Yeah, what is this kiss
yeah,
about?
the kiss. Well, they would give you a kiss. Because they were trying to say that was how they're showing their love to the guys, and this was
I
in New.
can't believe this shit. This is not real.
Yeah, and so yeah, they're not allowed to do it now, but that went on for you guys didn't hear about. You don't know what I'm talking about?
Hell no. I live in Philly, so this is news to me.
Okay, I
Brandon,
can
he's
pull
like,
it up, but
I
I don't know
ain't
how to
going that
send
way.
it. No, if you just look up "Stop and Frisk with a Kiss," it'll
I ain't
show
going
you.
back to New York, nigga. Fuck, I'm good over
Well,
there.
they don't have it like that now, but here's the problem:
Okay,
if the cops still do it, then who's gonna really stop them? And they
but
do this out in public.
is this like a metaphorical kiss, or are these motherfuckers really kissing
No, this
people?
is a kiss. It's a kiss. It is not like it shouldn't be like a French kiss, but they'll kiss them. Like, here, let me pull it up. I can tell you exactly.
This
And
is
there's a lot of
insanity.
problems in New York, and you have to remember the history of New York. Like from
Excuse
Wall
me.
Street, they have a strong tie to back to slavery, but it was all about how you say that word? Emasculating the
Emasculation,
man. Yeah.
emasculating.
The sad thing is this stuff was all out in public. Um, and the guys would complain about it. Here, I'll tell you the year. 1 second.
Where is Trav at? I need to get Trav on the show.
Where's Ant?
Trav will have a whole fucking fit. I hit Ant up.
What does that
Ant
make
was
you
usually
guys
asleep.
upset?
Oh
Well,
no, it's hilarious.
yeah,
No,
you're
I'm talking
like,
about the guys. Like when you hear stuff like that, because I just wonder why wouldn't
oh yeah,
that
no,
have
I'd
been
be dead. I'd
protested?
be dead. You're not finna stop, frisk, and then kiss me. Oh no, I'm dead. This is like
Okay,
you gonna see
here.
me on the news. They're
I'll
gonna
tell
pull
you
up my
when
whole
that
criminal history.
was.
Brandon, stop.
Now they tried
So
to say that it wasn't a law and it was just a parody, but this is actually what happened. They just said that because of the backlash. And what happens when you get something that controversial? So they'll have that Washington Post, that satire paper, pick it up. But it did happen. It was like it wasn't that long ago. I want to say it was last year. It could have been no more than 2 years old.
Hell no.
But let me find that for you because they're trying to cover it up now. But I went to New York to find out what was going on to see for myself. And sure enough, that's how it was. So
Stop and
I'm going
frisk
to New
with a
York
kiss.
again to check out that play, and I will tell you guys how it is. Okay, let's see. Yeah, they said that was to make the community closer to the community, like, so the blacks. It was supposed to bring you guys closer to the police, like to understand them better.
I don't see how a
Hey,
kiss from a man is gonna do that.
I don't either, and I was really disgusted when I saw it.
Hmm.
See, and it. Let me tell you when it stopped. And there's like a I.
That's hilarious.
Okay, but
Make you want to hit Trav up
but
and just pro on that.
uh, that's
Fire
just another
us
level.
all.
That's just another level of fuckery for the cops, though. I mean, stop frisking kissing me. Hell no.
Okay, so you know what? I'm just gonna deviate, but it's around the same narrative. With the
See if I.
intersectionality. Intersectionality. There's a lot of feminists out here, and there's black feminists. And I always say this: black feminists
I'm
are
gonna send it to you.
white feminists guard dog, or white supremacists guard dogs because they come out to attack the black men. They push this narrative of
Wait, what do you mean?
UO sis. Do you remember UO sis, the hashtag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had the UO sis, the hashtag, and granted, I've seen it firsthand, and I've spoken up, or I've been like, listen, you're like you chill, or I done walked up to a sister and be like, hey, just know that nigga and keep pushing. All black men ain't like that, but the narrative for UO cases is basically saying that black men will come out here and harass a woman and make threats and do all this shit on a constant basis. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't happen. I'm not saying that there aren't dudes out here who don't have any good fucking sense. However, the narrative of UO cases was trying to push an agenda that I felt like was basically a stop and frisk procedure for black men. Um, they were pushing for, and nobody really could give a legit answer on what they were looking for, but they were pushing for a narrative that if you are a woman, you're out and about, and a man speaks to you, that you could contact the police, and the police will handle that. I feel like that's problematic in a number of ways. The main one being, at any point in time, that can be used as a weapon against the black man to essentially get him thrown in jail or get arrested or stop and frisked simply because somebody said, "Hey, yeah, you fit the description of a man that was hitting on a woman. We're gonna have to go ahead and take you in for questioning. We're gonna have to go ahead and frisk you. You might have a weapon on you." And I felt like that was the problematic issue.
I definitely agree with that. And there's also an issue when people ain't gonna look at it from a bigger picture, but there is a bigger picture where it's a First Amendment rights issue. If that "you okay, sis" was actually getting pushed, you're limiting people's First Amendment right. And once we as a people of this country, we give up a right, especially one that's been documented in the Bill of Rights, then it's just so much easier to get rid of the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you okay? So you okay, sis? That was like 2013.
Can I?
Was
it?
Yeah. Shit, yeah.
Nah, it could have been a little later than that. I'm not exactly sure, but
yeah,
I mean, it is dangerous because if I don't have a right to talk to a woman, you know what I'm saying? If she wants to deny me, she can deny me. That's her business. But if you saying I can't even speak to a person, now you're controlling speech.
That becomes it's a scary predicament because when I was single, because I was single at the time, and I was thinking of this as a narrative of, I can't even talk to you because I don't know what your prerogative is in terms of black men in general, of me, anything. Because if I walk up to you and say hi, you can call that street harassment and potentially get me arrested. Now I understand if I try to talk to you and I'm walking and following you down the street and harassing you, doing all that shit. But at that point, it just becomes verbal assault. It's regular ass assault. Hey, listen, you got to get up out of here with that. You can take your ass to jail. But at any point, if I come up to you and say, hey, Rain, hey, Nicole, how are you doing? I'd just like to get to, know you go out for coffee, XYZ. That can be considered street harassment, and that's ridiculous.
I think
Okay, you're cutting out again.
Hear me?
It was kind of choppy on my end.
Okay, can you? Okay, I was just saying. I think the whole street harassment narrative was a bunch of women that couldn't get any nookie.
Wow.
I think that's where that narrative comes from. Now, I do understand there are some creepy guys out there that need to shut the fuck up when they try to talk to these women. But I'm with Donnie. If I can't even I don't have that problem anymore. But it's like if I couldn't even walk up to you and so much as say hi, then
I just want to. Can I say something real quick? I gotta.
Yeah, Nicole got lost from the conversation.
Yeah, she got
to come back in. She called me, so go ahead.
That stop and kiss frisk thingy she was talking about. That was a joke. I just looked it up because I was kind of like wondering, and it was something that The Onion put together with a parody video of like NYPD or kissing this guy.
But I'm telling you, they try to make it. What happens is like they try to make so you'll see a real situation, and then they'll try to say that it's a parody for everybody else, so they don't protest what they're saying. But I went there and I met guys, and I asked them. This is what they were doing.
It says The Onion has hilariously fooled many people once again.
The Onion is a satire newspaper, though.
Yeah.
No, but this is what if you look at an actual newscast of when they were talking about this, and it because you can see videos of that.
What is it? I'm looking at it. I think
they try to mock everything that black people talk about and say they make just like the reparation thing when they were like, oh, this black guy saying this and that.
But it's not a black guy. It was a white guy.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what they do is they try to cover up what they've done by saying, oh, it was just a joke. But there wouldn't have been there wouldn't have been all those guys complaining about it if it was just a joke. Those black people were really upset about it.
I'm not sure about the stop, kiss, and frisk thing, but I mean, stop and frisk is an actual problem because it actually does go against what you're supposedly able to do. And anything that even make light of something like that when it's actually a problem, Because I mean, I understand you crack a joke about something that was a problem, but it's not a problem anymore, and then people crack jokes about it. But you're not. I mean, you're cracking jokes about something that's really abusive to a certain group of people at
But
that particular stage. You know, that's kind of iffy on that to even make
see
that much fun of it.
the thing that is happening. Okay, so the stop and frisk. If you look at how the guys frisked them, and a guy, the black men were talking about the abuse that as this was happening. So they instead of calling it stop and frisk, they called it stop and frisk with kiss because they were actually fondling these men. And I saw a video, and it was not a joke or a parody. This guy was like, "Look, he's molesting me. Stop it." So
Okay,
that's why they
okay.
started
No,
calling
I
it
Are
that.
you
totally
are you
believe you,
okay?
Nicole.
So let
Nicole,
me
I
ask you
believe
this,
you.
Nicole. Are you saying that because it sounds like you're saying that these men were being fondled, so it became a joke of stop, frisk, and
it
kiss. But that's what these men
they
were getting.
they started naming it that because they were actually found out, like one cop you would see him like actually like kiss the guy on the neck or try to kiss his mouth, you would see that, so that's what they were saying is stop and frisk with the kiss, like so the guys can do that and the cops didn't get in trouble for it.
Okay, so you saying some basically some they were trying to buck break some black men and with
Yeah,
some basically
They were
sexual abuse
sexually
they
and
were
some
taking
harassing black
advantage
labeled it.
men
of
as
the
a joke.
law. They
Yeah,
were
Yeah, they
taking
were
and
advantage
sexually
of the law, like
harassing black
pushing
men.
it
they
by
was and
using the
then they
stop and
labeled it as
frisk.
a
They
joke
were
to kind of cover it up. Okay, that I can
well,
get with.
you know how you're detained by a cop, not you personally, and they still don't follow their own laws. So they were abusing these black guys, but the stop and frisk made it so that way they didn't have to have a reason to pull them over. They just had to look suspicious, but they were fondling these guys.
Yeah, because that
That's
was the
all.
thing when I first moved to Philly. I moved to Philly in 2013, and then I left and moved to Charlotte. But when I
That's
was here,
about
it
when
was
it was
stop
all
and frisk.
happening.
Stop and frisk was a thing here, and I remember it was a big issue because it was a dude from Camden. He was being stop and frisked, and actually in the neighborhood I live in now. And the cop was messing with him, giving him a hard time. He was like, "Yeah, you from Camden? Yeah, you a piece of shit. You coming over here with that shit?" And
Hmm.
it was a whole problem. Um, so I mean, I can get in the dude was in the video was saying, I think he
It's
said
a really sad
he accused the
situation.
cop of grabbing his dick, but I don't know.
That's no, I even saw videos of that, and that's the problem, and that's why they had to make it into a parody because that's so outrageous. But this was done out in the open. There was so many videos of it, and that's why they try to confuse everyone because most people don't ask questions and they get upset if they don't really know the situation. But no, it was so tense there.
I
Hmm.
totally believe what you're saying, Nicole. What you're saying makes absolute sense
Uh-huh.
because we all know when white folks have been in power, a lot of them are going to abuse that power, and a lot of them will simply, and I'm gonna call it what it is, they will sexually harass
They
black
were.
men
Hmm.
in order to demoralize them or try to break them mentally. So they were just doing it just to hurt the men in some kind of non-physical way. You
Yeah,
see what I'm
that's
saying? They're trying to
exactly
hurt
what
your
they
heart at
did.
that point.
I don't
So
even think
Yeah,
it
so
was
I
in
totally
order
them.
to
believe that.
demoralize him. I think it was some sexual
Yeah,
perversion.
and
It
I'm
was
and I
perverted when they tried to sue. That they came up with all these parodies saying, "Nope, look it, they're taking it too far." But no, no, no. When I went there, it was so tense, and you can the videos that no black man is going to show up in that kind of a video. He's like, "Look it, he's touching me," and you can see the cop grab him in front of all these women, and the cop was doing it to embarrass him. This guy did nothing wrong.
But see that's a relic from slavery. That's what they used to do. They would buck break you. They would tie black men down
Oh,
and rape them in front of the whole
oh God. Oh.
in front of the whole camp. I call it camp, but the whole plantation, and show like, listen, we took your males, and this is what we doing to them. And it was a sexual perversion on their end, but it was demoralizing and it was messing up
It's
the
the
whole
same
community.
thing. Same
And
thing.
Jamaica, that's what Jamaica was known for. So Jamaica, that's why Jamaica has a heavy issue with it. Probably the West Indies in general, but Jamaica has a heavy issue with homosexuality now because of it was a buck breaking fucking whole dynamic out there.
It's
White
just
men were
really,
taking ships
really
to go out
sad.
there and fuck these slaves.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's nothing. It's continued on into today. These motherfuckers come into power. They run around like the crackers, the plantation overlord overseers, and they still doing this gay shit today.
They know they can't beat a black man in a regular way. But do you think that's why the black community is so against homosexuality now?
I personally do not see the black community against homosexuality. I've never seen
No,
a dynamic of we hate homosexuality in the Black American community. Black American community has always been loving and accepting of the gay community, and you can look back to Like there may be some jokes about it, but you've always seen the gay choir director, the gay. It's always been a gay black male in the community. Now it may not have been openly accepted, but they've always been taken care of and loved and accepted in the black community.
Yeah, like James Baldwin.
Okay.
Right.
Whoa, really? Oh, okay. I didn't
Hmm.
grow up in a black community, so I didn't know. But I know where I grew up, you hear these things. My family wasn't accepting of gays at all. But that's just what we heard on our side. So yeah,
Well, maybe
the
like in like
stereotype.
maybe like in our individual families, because I've had adult women in my family telling me not to go that way, and I'm like, well, y'all don't have anything to worry about, so whatever. But as a collective, as a community, I would say that black people are the most accepting of
Yeah.
homosexuality,
Mm,
the
okay,
most, and
Well,
that's
actually,
and
I'll say that in general. Black people are most accepting of anything.
that's true. I would think. Again, I didn't. Yeah, there wasn't
yeah,
that
and
many
which
of
which
them.
yeah, which moves me to the next section of this, and then we're probably gonna have to wrap this up in about a half hour. Um,
You know what? Before you go there, Raindrop is a she's got Jamaican heritage. Maybe she's got like an outside perspective of it. No,
maybe she can help us shed some light.
What? On what?
Yeah, what he was.
black
Uh,
homosexuality, black
gay
community.
and homosexuality. I agree with you. What you said about like Jamaicans being like so against it. Yeah, like me, no, I'm good. Like I'll accept it if I have to, but it's not something I would want. Like I have friends that are gay, and that's cool. That's their business. Family wise, it was a kind of a struggle because I've had family members, end up like that, and I've seen them get beat and people try to beat that out of them and stuff like that. So it's pretty
Which
it's
is
pretty rough.
but it's just the Jamaican heritage.
Yeah, Jamaican. Yeah.
But it's that I
Yeah.
mean that's kind of ingrained in them because it's I, I mean shit. It's a scar of slavery.
Hmm.
Okay,
That
okay, no,
yeah.
go
Go ahead.
go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
no,
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 you go.
you're good. No, you're
Oh,
good.
okay, all right. That brings, well, since we're talking about slavery and everything, and that's my next thing about black people being in their fields. Do you think it's due to a level of PTSD that we experience in the Western world?
Post traumatic slave syndrome.
Yeah, well, it
I oh go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
post traumatic traumatic stress disorder, however you want to look. I think that black people are easily PTSDs.
Hmm.
I don't think it's post anything. Some black people are triggered because of the stuff we're still going through today. People act like the effects of slavery are gone. They're not gone because people still enforce white supremacy, period. So
Yeah,
as
that's
long as
true.
you have people enforcing white supremacy, black people should be reacting. To me, it is normal for a black person to react to someone trying to subjugate them. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't someone react to someone attempting to subjugate them? I would react to anyone trying to subjugate me too. And just because you're uncomfortable with the action doesn't mean anything's wrong. I would be more bothered if a person wasn't reacting to someone trying to subjugate them.
Mm.
Subjugate you. What do you mean?
Well, anyone trying to take away a right for you or treat you like you're
Oh,
less
okay.
than them. Period. However,
Okay.
you degrade you, however you want to look at it. If you weren't reacting to that, then to me that's more of a problem.
Okay. Do you think that some blacks are overly sensitive though about anything or
No, no, I'm not. I'm
everything?
not. No,
I
I'm just
think
asking.
I mean,
I think
yeah,
blacks.
any group of people can some of them can be over. Go ahead, Ken. I don't want to. Go
I
ahead.
think I
Say your
think
piece.
I think I think black people as a group are hypersensitive, but if you're gonna say that about black people, you're gonna have to say that about some other groups in the Western world too. Uh, Number one, like the LGBT community, like people are getting like, but like let's take it to another celebrity, Kevin Hart. Now, do you think that was totally necessary for
No.
that to happen to Kevin Hart?
No.
Like,
No.
Yeah, and
Not
and
necessarily.
it's just the fact is that sensitive. I don't think we're the most hypersensitive though. I don't
I think Kevin Hart got
think
his
so.
nigga wake up call.
Well, you
Yeah,
see all
yeah,
these
he did.
politicians that say things about black people, like the one that caused a riot and called a gay group and said black people don't like you. I mean, he didn't lose his job, and no one criticized him. They can say sorry, but they take some old tweets. I mean, I just think that they use politics or say you're being politically incorrect when it suits them. But no, what was the big deal? He expressed it. I just think they went too far.
No, no,
Yeah,
you know what the thing about Kevin Hart is? See, I don't mind the fact that they fired Kevin Hart basically, because that's
I thought
really
he
what
stepped
happened.
down. Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
Well, I mean, I
no,
know
he got fired.
technically
Stepped
he
down like
stepped down.
polite.
He got fired.
Technically, he stepped down.
You could say
But
he stepped down, but they gave him
I
an
get
ultimatum. So at the end of the day, what's the
yeah,
difference?
right.
It was more like he was
but the thing,
pushed out.
yeah. So my thing is, at the end of the day, is their thing. The Oscars is owned by somebody, and they can represent that particular thing any way they want to. My issue is gay people try to bully people into agreeing with their lifestyle. Now, I'm a pro freedom
Ooh,
person, so I'm not against gay people practicing their lifestyle if that's what they choose to do. But when you start trying to bully people to say something's wrong with me if I won't agree with your lifestyle,
Yeah.
that's a huge problem. You see what I'm saying? I don't care you personally who you go to bed with. That's not really technically even my business. But when you try to tell me I got to agree with the fact that you're going to bed with them, now you stepping on my toes. I do what I want with my own mind. So you
Right.
can't tell me what I'm supposed to think about it. You can do it, but you can't tell me what I'm supposed to think about it. So that was the issue that I see. I can't say it was a problem with the Oscars because the Oscars is owned by somebody, and they can treat their thing however they want to treat their thing. But I'm not gonna act like I should be upset that Kevin Hart saying anything because he don't have to agree with being gay at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think it. I feel like that community they pick and choose who they want to pick on because I think someone I can't remember who it was. I think someone on Black Twitter just went and pulled up old tweets of like the I think it was like I can't remember
White
three
comedian
white
Sarah
yeah
Sarah
they
Silverman.
hmm and
What's
it was
the
some
Nick
the
very
ginger?
Nick
Amy
Cannon
Schumer.
did it. He went and pulled up stuff on three white women for a purpose.
and they had some tweets some gay slander tweets as well and you know of course were
Well, if
with
you
the
don't
outrage from
agree
that
with the
same community.
yeah, if you don't agree with liberals, those. Ugh, never
The
mind. Forget
liberal,
it.
the
Yeah,
liberal
if you
thinking.
don't have that kind of a mindset or you speak out against it, you're gonna be in trouble anyway.
They went ahead and copped pleas. They was like, "Oh, I'm sorry that we said that," but it's just kind of like
But he said sorry
that
too.
same, yeah. But I just feel like the LGBT, whatever the fuck they are, community, they need to keep that same energy to everybody. If you're gonna attack one person, attack the same people for doing those doing it because they don't. They pick and choose who they want to pick on. But then as soon as somebody comes after them, it's like, oh my God, outrage, don't do that. We didn't mean to. No, fuck you. Like, have a seat. And I agree with you, Roger, about how they bully people into shit. No, no, we don't have to. Like, I, I'm in a community where we have a transgender wrestler. A guy is wrestling on the women's.
Transgender wrestler. Oh, in the school.
Yes, in the school.
Hmm.
It's a guy. He's wrestling on the girls' team, and he's been
That's
winning
not right.
for like I think either past 2 or 3 years. And a lot of the parents from the other cities are outraged, and I agree. Like
And they
I feel
should.
like
Well,
They
every
remember that
should.
girl that got a concussion? That the person was transgender or something on a female's team.
I
Yeah,
I
mean,
think
it was
it's
bound to happen. Transgender should have their own section. I'm
they
not saying you
should.
can't be a
Or be with the
transgender,
guys.
but why would you be born physically a male and be wrestling girls, and then we as adults supposed to act like that's okay? We as
what
adults are stupid because we're
what
putting
I'll
children
say
in jeopardy at that point.
is they should separate things into XX, XY. But to take it a step further, if you just want to be on some regular shit, if you are transgender, regardless of what your switch is, male to female, female to male, or whatever the other little 37 different binary codes are, all of
But
it,
now it's
you should
64.
be competing with the guy. Simply put, because if you are a man that transgender just switches into woman, and you are competing with the women, you're going to have an advantage because you
It's not
have
fair.
a bigger muscular system. You have
Hmm.
your bone density is different.
I just,
You have had testosterone in your life, and if you're a
yeah.
woman transgender and going into a man and you're competing with the women, you have a
Wow.
testosterone boost that is out of this world. I think they described it as the average woman has a testosterone level around 32, whatever the measurement is, and then
Really?
when you get into with testosterone boosting, it's between 6 and 1,400 for the average guy, or 6 and 1,200
Wow.
before the guy. So they're boosting themselves. That is a stronger jump from the most steroided motherfucking monster in a bodybuilding competition from the next man. That's how big of a leap it is. They're big. They're
Wow.
more jacked up than that person. So it's cheating either way you look at it.
Well,
Mm.
they're trying to push this stuff in our schools. Like, I remember my daughter, I was doing this experiment. I sent her to a public school, trying to humble her. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I'm not against public school,
Shit.
but in California, it's not so great. So she came back talking about all these rights that she had and the gender neutral bathroom. If I was gonna vote for that, and I said no. And then I remember when we had to vote for the gay marriage thing, and I felt really bad because my friends were gay and they were with me, and I wasn't gonna vote for that, but they actually were protesting and making problems at people's businesses for not agreeing with the gay marriage thing. Yet they wanted us to vote on it. It was like really bad. And the thing about
I,
it, I don't like excessive public expression with even a straight couple. If we're at like a Disneyland or something like that, but they make it extreme if it's for them. I would say something to my buddies if they were like making out heavily in front of kids. I think they take it
I
too
wonder.
far sometimes.
I
Yeah.
wonder if you heard about that one kid, that transgender guy. He went into the girls' bathroom, and the school went in and like opened the bathroom on him, the stall,
Oh,
like while he was in there.
Oh yeah, that's doing too
To
much.
find out,
horrible.
his sister spoke out and was kind of like, she didn't understand like why he was acting, the way he was acting, because one, the school has been very grateful to him and his situation. They gave him his own his own bathroom. Like they let him do whatever he, wants, how he is. And yet he still went to the girls' bathroom where he knew he wasn't supposed to go into, and they still let him do it and gave him a time limit. And when he realized, the time limit was up, and he still didn't come out, like he purposely went back into the stall
Mm,
and took a longer time,
What do you
causing
What
this
do you mean they?
uproar.
so I
Well,
wouldn't be
first off,
comfortable.
why are you giving somebody a time limit to go to the bathroom? That's a because
Because
hey,
he's in the girls' bathroom.
I get it, but why are you if you
He
gonna let
wasn't
them in there?
supposed to
Why are
be
you
in there.
giving me a time limit?
Well, they're giving him a time limit because he's just like, oh, I need to use the bathroom really bad. I want to go here because it's closer.
Oh,
Let me
I
run
see.
in this bathroom. I'll be right out. Cool. We give you 10 minutes. They gave
It's
him 10
asking
minutes.
for a problem. Yeah.
And basically, it seemed like the kid wanted to start some shit. And he did. He got his uproar. That's why his sister spoke out,
I
because she
I,
didn't want that.
I think they see. I think they gave him that was a problem to begin with.
Hmm.
If
Yeah.
you didn't want him in the boys' bathroom or in the
Yeah,
girls'
you're right.
bathroom, you don't let him in there. You don't give him no damn time limit. But that's the problem. If you let him in there, you don't give up no time limit.
Hmm.
That's ridiculous.
And
You're
now
asking for
look,
problems then.
it
Not
still
that you
caused
should
a
be in there
problem.
for three
It seemed like
hours.
it seemed like the kid wanted to start some shit anyways.
Probably.
And
Because
It's it's
one of
probably
those
how his parents trained him.
I feel like it was one of those, oh, the LGBT community hasn't had no uproar in a minute. So yeah, hey, go sacrifice yourself for the greater good. All right, I'm gonna start some shit at my school, even though my school treats me right. My school lets me do what I want. Fuck them. And now it's kind of like the school
Wow.
shouldn't, like, that's why I'm just kind of like,
They
that
have
shouldn't
strong
be in
ties.
schools at all. No,
but
I'm
that's the
sorry.
problem we have now. It's a lot of freedoms are given uh, for no good reason. Like the whole athleticism. These I get it. Okay, cool. But transgender, this is ridiculous. And this is really harmful to women. I don't. Uh,
It is.
Everything is problematic. Fallon Fox. It was a big issue with Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox was stepping into the MMA cage and was fucking these women up. And when it became a problem, she just magically lost. But she was whooping these women's asses. There's
Mm,
no
that's
like
just not right.
Yeah, I mean, like knocked an eye socket out.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
whooping.
What was the
Like,
nationality of the women that she was beating up? I'm just curious.
It white women, Brazilian woman. I feel like it was one I'm missing.
They just
I,
have
I
so
watched
many.
two of them.
They have ties to they just have so many political ties, and they're very connected, different ways. There's a lot of money in the community. It's just it's crazy.
I think I'm in the craziest state because every time I look up, it's a kid. Like I think we had a transgender black
Track star.
a boy track star. Oh my god, that blew my mind. I would have been pissed. Like I would have been pissed. There is no fucking way in hell. Like parents, I'm sorry, parents need to
Wow.
protest that. No, I get it. Equal rights, cool, whatever. But do what you do in your. You tell me you can't win against these boys, so you gotta reduce yourself and come and take away from these girls. That's
Well,
taken away from girls. And I feel like
that's my
women, we
problem.
need to stop. We need to stop pushing that. Like when the transgender did the what was it, Miss USA World or whatever that just happened.
Oh yeah.
I made a post saying, "Hey ladies, are y'all tired yet of pushing this? Because they're slowly taking away from us and giving it to
Actually,
them."
that one should have been. I don't know. That one's. I feel kind of funny about that. Ain't no way she should have won. I don't. Did
She
she
didn't
win?
win. No, she
Okay.
didn't win.
I
Hell,
was gonna
no.
say, ain't no
But
way
she
she
I
could
should
have
have won.
taken
mean,
somebody
But
else's
I
spot
give it
though.
I give it like 2021. One of them will win. I give it next couple years.
It's just really too bad because they're what they're trying to tell our kids, and I just know from a little bit. My daughter only went to a public school for 2 months. That's it, and she just came back so different. But they're saying that okay, you're not gay if you date a woman like the same sex, she's a girl, and she learned like, hey, I have options, and if I date a girl, it doesn't mean that I'm gay. I just like her for a moment. I'm fluid. I'm sexually fluid, and they said
Yeah, they're
get
pushing that
that junk
heavily
out
on
your
black
head.
people, and it's getting ridiculous. They're really pushing this
But
narrative.
they're buying it. Okay, we talked about the teacher that put that boy in a dress. Remember that little
He did
kid?
what now?
The teacher that, or maybe it was a different panel, but the teacher that
hey,
the boy was like, too. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
I did a
she
video on
she
that.
had a little boy wearing a dress.
I
Okay,
did a video on
so
that.
that
I'm not familiar with it. I might have seen it, but I didn't pay attention.
really sad. Little black boy. I
Yeah,
couldn't watch the video. It was too much.
no, he was 2 years old. And are you talking about the one where
That one, yeah.
the black man went and
The
confronted the
granddad and
teacher?
yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she was like, I can't talk to you about that. You're gonna have to go talk to the principal. But you're the one that put him in the dress.
So what
Yeah,
exactly
with
happened?
2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. So.
I
2 days in a
whooped
row, and it
that
was
teacher's ass. I'm sorry. I can't
She
do
acted like it was no big deal, nothing. She was just looking at him like, "Well, I can't talk to you about it." It was disgusting.
And the main problem was she put him in the dress after they addressed it and told her not to put him in the dress. So she basically was going against the parental wishes of the child.
Why was this little boy being put in a dress?
I mean, they just want to make him feminine. But my thing is, do we really care? The fact that it's been addressed, don't put the child in the dress.
No,
Leave it alone. It's not the child.
I'm not asking for
They didn't say
excuse.
that
I was just curious. With like, did the little boy just came home in a dress one day? Like, what was like? What? How
No.
did this dress come about?
The teacher decided to put the child in a dress. Now I can't say what that specific teacher reason is, but there are teachers and adult administrators of schools and different programs where they're trying to push this narrative, and they try to go out their way to get boys to play with dolls and girls to play with fire trucks and things like that. They go out their way to get a boy to do something that's normally the opposite what a boy would do, and they do the same thing for girls. So it's adults pushing this stuff, and my thing is, people have to make a decision of who does their child belong to. Does your child belong to you, or does your child belong to the state?
Mm-hmm.
They're not speaking out about it though.
I mean, I get the narrative of you want your child to be and not put in an effeminate position. And I don't say I won't say dolls because I feel like action figures are dolls. You just call them action figures.
Yeah, the doll doesn't bother me, but they were also painting their nails and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's over the line for me. That's over the line. Like you're not gonna be painting my child's nails and his little boy. So yeah, I can understand that. Okay.
Hey, Brandon. You
Yeah.
say you didn't know anything. Let me show you this video real quick, man. Yeah, this is this is what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, can y'all see?
Hold on, push
Oh
pause on
no,
this now.
I'm ready for this.
Oh, yes.
All right, I'm watching it.
Okay.
The Grand Report. It was a white woman.
Oh, fucking cool.
So he's having now. We don't hear any words. So was this the time he spoke with her, and then afterwards she put his child in a dress again?
I can't
It was his
remember.
grandchild, and that's when he spoke to her the second time. They had already addressed the teacher about putting the child in the dress. This was him. This was the grandfather reacting to it happening, even though it was asked for it to not happen.
I find it funny that there's a cross on the wall and it happened in the like.
Oh, this is a Holy Roller Church, and she got the cross on the damn wall. Oh yeah.
Mm.
But that, you know what, that runs with
So
the
was it a
narrative that,
black? Was it a what? What was the race of the kid? Was it a kid black,
of
white?
course, he was black.
He's a black kid.
Oh my god!
And this is what I always say: you have all of these.
It's
The majority
sad.
of these teachers are white women. The majority of these teachers are white women. A lot of these white women, they cannot connect with your black child, and they like to
It's
push a
sad.
narrative on your black child. They like to push this narrative on your black child that he's a sexual predator from an early age. They like to put on the child that he's special, so he needs to be put in special needs classes and he needs to be railed. It's a whole lot of issues I have with this.
Well, I wouldn't say they can't identify or relate. The thing is, they're not interested in identifying or relating with black children, especially male black children, because you cannot maintain white supremacy if you do so. And I know people don't really think about it in those terms, but white supremacy is maintained through educational process. And just like you say, white women are doing it. Who are they in it for at the end of the day? They're in it to keep their men in power. So anything that's going to hurt black children, they're down for. You know, just talking about from a larger scale situation. Not, I'm not picking on them as individuals, but when you see stuff that is going to hurt other people, are you really going to recognize it as a problem?
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So think about it. Gay is a thing that white folks been doing since we don't know when. You know what I'm saying? They're comfortable with gay.
Rain, we
just
had this
don't see why
conversation
would you
earlier
put a
today.
black
We
kid
were
Didn't we
talking
just
about
talk? Sorry.
me and Rain was having this conversation earlier today. We
I
was talking about
homeschooled my kid.
Greek culture. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it just I wouldn't have my kid in a public school because of what goes on. If I could help it. That's all. What were you gonna say?
But yeah, I was having this conversation with Rain today. The Greeks and the Romans had been doing this for years. They had pederasty where they it was open, it was out in the open, it was not a problem. It was a commonly accepted thing where they were sleeping with little boys, and if you wanted to like Plato and Aristotle, they were blatant homosexuals with pedophile tendencies. Everybody wants to hold up 300. Oh, the Spartans. The Spartans were raging homosexuals. This is just what they did. Alexander the Great. Oh, he was so great. Yeah, he conquered. He did this. He was fucking boys. That's just what they did.
And see, my thing is, again, it's okay for you to be gay because it's supposed to be a miracle. People are supposed to be able to live a lifestyle that they want to live, but trying
to. Think Roger went out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
and I don't have it. I don't have any issue
White folks
with
make them act like black. You know what I'm saying? And I don't need no white folks trying to bully me to make me act like I'm white. You know, like that's when it goes too far. You know what I'm saying? So it's because don't get me wrong. I know if you don't say this stuff, a lot of people are gonna say, well, you know, y'all being an anti-gay. It's not about being anti-gay.
Mm-mm.
It's about the fact that everybody don't want to be gay. If you want to be gay, that's your business. But I don't have to want to be gay. I don't have to agree with
No.
being gay. I don't have to agree with my children being gay. It doesn't have to be acceptable for me on a personal level. You can be as gay as you want to be. I ain't telling you not to. But I don't have to be gay, and I don't need my children to be gay.
No,
And
they're
I'm not going
wrong.
to be
Yeah.
okay with my children being gay to make you more comfortable with the fact that you choose to be gay.
Here's what I'll say, because I don't, if you're gay, you're gay. Yeah, I don't feel like it's a thing that you can change. I feel like it's an inkling. Now, granted, there's some people who have been cultured and been forced to be gay. However, I feel like, naturally, if you just wake up one day and you like, whatever you like, it is what it is. My problem with the culture we currently have is the effeminization of little boys and the mask. What's the word there when you want to make a little girl masculine? I feel like that.
You talking about emasculation?
Yeah, well, you emasculate.
I thought
you can
emasculation was
emasculate
taken
Yeah, you
away.
can emasculate a little boy, but whatever the word is for a little girl, because you have a lot of these. We'll go with aggressive studs. They just put a movie out called Pimp. Have you seen that? It's with that little cute ass girl. Look, she's chocolate little thing.
I haven't seen the girl. I have seen an advertisement for it.
Yeah, so Pimp, she in there. She dressed like a little boy. She a pimp. She run around here.
Palmer? What? Oh, I'm sorry. I just looked it up. Sorry.
Pimp the movie?
Yeah, it's Keke Palmer. Gosh,
Yeah, Keke Palmer.
She's so cute. Yeah.
Oh yeah, not in that movie.
Oh, she
run around with you got to pay me. You fucking my girl. Nah, hell nah. So they run this whole narrative, and I think this narrative is meant to confuse and destroy the black community, because what ends up happening is you have all these rough and tumble little girls running around trying to take up arms against white supremacists and all these wrongs, and ultimately, let's just call a spade a spade. A man and a woman. Yeah, there's gonna be some women that can mess up a man. He's gonna be a little dainty man or whatever it is, or maybe he's a weak man and he's big. It doesn't matter. On average, the average man is going to get in an altercation with a woman and he's going to fuck her up. Simply because we have testosterone and we just built differently. We're the more aggressive ones. So we're going to come out on top on that fight. But if you have a generation of men that's being raised up to be effeminate, and they are, and more so in their, I guess, their mother's womanhood, rather than their father's manhood, then they're an easy target to take off. When you have this culture of straight white males running around learning gun, learning MMA, learning to fight and do all this, and you have niggas walking around with their ass out and taking up feminine tendencies, of course it's easy to control us. We don't have the black community is a matriarchal one at this point. Period. Point.
Okay. Yeah. And that can be looked at in many ways. And I can tell you right now, I've been in black communities that were mostly matriarchal. Maybe it's the part of the country I'm in, but they were shitholes. Like I've never seen, and I'm going to say this, I've never seen a matriarchal community. Now, if you've seen one, I'll admit to being wrong in front of everybody, but I haven't seen one. Not a successful matriarchal community without assistance.
Now that's not to say that black women aren't strong.
Yeah, I'm not saying
capable.
I'm not saying that, because guess what? The black community was very matriarchal in the 20s, and the reasoning behind that was they kept lynching the men. And when those women, for some reason, and I'm not saying that they had the ability to do what they had to do to produce good citizens. but I've just never seen it. I've never seen a successful matriarchal community like in our community. Like I said, if there is, I might be wrong. Just saying.
Now, the Black History moment for you. There's been some strong communities in Africa where there's been some Black women who are warriors, and they were led by a warrior queen, but that's not the average. That's not the norm, and they still had a respect and a place for the man. Whereas now,
I'm not saying he can't.
niggas ain't shit. I don't need no man.
But my thing is, see, when it comes to America, then I don't too much like to go into too much stuff that's overseas because we only get a portrait of what people want to show us overseas. When I talk to actual people who lived in other countries, I get very different narratives than basically what television will tell me or what the newspaper will tell me. I get very different information. So I don't really trust them to even tell me about what's really going on overseas. That's just me personally, because I get too much different information when I talk to the people who live there. Now, when it comes to a physical community, if any neighborhood you have where you have mostly homes led by the women, you're basically talking about a neighborhood in poverty and with a lot of problems. That's just the way it goes. I don't blame women for that because I don't put the expectations of women that I expect from men. So I don't expect women to build up the community. I don't expect for women to do a lot. I just don't expect for women to do man's job. And I think it's unfair for us as men to even look at them to do a man's job, which I personally that's why I don't really agree with equality outside of the workforce. If you go to work, yes, be treated equally at work, but as soon as you step out of work, you can't really push equality expecting things to come out right because it's unfair for me to require a woman to be a man. And it's unfair for a woman to require me to be a woman. Yeah. If you want me to act like a woman, it's never going to happen. You know? And when it comes to little boys in school, why would you want them to act like girls? Because they're not supposed to grow up to be women, so they shouldn't be acting like girls. There's a problem because we're not respecting the differences of people. You know, so to me, people who want true equality, where they're looking at it like this person can do exactly the same thing this other person can do, they're complete nut jobs, in my opinion.
Okay, you know? All right. I got. Okay, anybody else want to say anything about that before I go on to the last topic?
Yeah. So
me and Roger will be going back and forth. But go ahead.
But this is what I say. It like I was brought up earlier with the Greek and the Roman culture. You had the Spartans. The Spartans was a masculine society. Raging homosexuals, pedophiles, still masculine. They wasn't walking around with no sassy shit all day doing extra shit on some extra feminization.
Wait, who was the Roman? No,
Greeks and the Romans.
I hate to bust your bubble, but there were some feminine men in.
Oh no, there was. I'm not gonna say that there wasn't, but it largely that was a masculine culture. The Spartans.
I
name some effeminate Spartans.
Of course, I can't name any. They hide that. They're not going to put that in history books.
Right, but their whole culture was running around with homosexuality. It was written with sexuality. Their culture is known for what?
I'm trying to think. What was warriors. The name of the leader? He fell in love with a feminine man and wanted to be with him.
With a what?
I can't remember which leader it was.
Was that common or was that? I'm not saying that stuff didn't happen.
And the wife was upset. Like she just.
Are you talking about the movie Alexander?
No. It's not. I know what you're talking about, but no. It's a book I read, a history book. Anyways, continue. Yeah.
But I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm not saying that there weren't, that there weren't exceptions to the rule. I'll never say that. I'm never speaking as an absolute. However, the majority of that culture still held themselves in a masculine way and held themselves I guess you got to be a pitcher and catcher, but for the most part, they was masculine.
Yeah, I'll say this about the Spartans though. Sometimes the Spartans purposely fought naked to distract their opponents.
Yeah, you can say purposely, to distract. I think
What
they
do you
was
look
getting
up
their freak
these?
on in them
Let me
lines.
see.
But go ahead.
No, I saw that. I actually saw this in a documentary about the Spartans around the time 300
Oh,
came
let's
out.
see. I have to Google this. Okay.
Yeah, but I guess it's a very little known fact that I think they were too busy trying to make those guys look like masculine, manly men on that close to, I never watched Alexander, but I heard they were pretty close to what that society used to do. It was a bunch of masculine men that were raging homosexuals. But
Yeah, they had a holiday. They had a gay. Well, it wasn't. I wouldn't say a gay holiday, but they had a holiday where they were passing off little boys, getting wasted and having orgies. So I mean, Saturnalia. It's what they say Christmas is based off of, or part of what Christmas is based off of, like Easter, etc. All these different religions and all different holidays have become Christian holidays, etc.
Okay. All right.
Oh, the Spartan people. I see now. Okay, great.
Okay. Okay. Did you see anything that related to what we just said?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking up the culture because I thought I just know about the movie, but I don't watch movies. But they yeah,
A lot of
they
those.
were like what you guys described. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we have the word pedophile. Pedophile comes from I want to say Greek, and it they had a whole culture of pederasty, and it was basically you want to be an apprentice. Okay, come on over here, but you gotta you're gonna start at 12, and we're gonna do some stuff and some things and some stuff, and I'm gonna teach you this trade, and it's fucking horrendous, and a lot of that I can probably get into it, but I can't get into it because we don't have time for it, but a lot of that translated into the church and what you see now. Catholic Church.
Oh,
But
the Catholic Church.
I think they were like pretty skimpy clothes. Like I think they were naked for the movie to make it like more sensational. Maybe you think? I can't picture a bunch of grown men
Like
fighting
I
naked.
said, like I said, like 300. They're not gonna put everything into it because they wanted to make that group of white men look killing manly men.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, and also the story
They
of
even took a
300 was
dig.
incredibly exaggerated. It wasn't like
They even
they
took
make
a
it look like they fought and they beat off that whole army by themselves. They didn't.
Okay.
and really they took a dig at black people in that movie. Like if you didn't notice when your boy came to, like before they threw your boy in
Xerxes.
the hole, they took
Wow.
a like they took a dig at African culture. Do you remember that?
With the
Oh
when the
yeah.
Persians came through and they kicked homeboy, and this
Yeah,
is Sparta.
yeah. They had the woman in the movie actually demoralize him instead of like
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I remember bits and pieces because I've seen it so long ago.
yeah.
You know what?
But
You're right. I just saw something that said they did try to make the white men and the more wealthy or upper class ones out to be more than what they were, so they would exaggerate the stories and things like that.
and also think about these cultures too. Now, when you watch these movies, when they talk about these old school white civilizations that were warrior civilizations, the bureaucrats stuff like wigs, they wore makeup, they were very in their mannerisms. Like they would speak like this and they would talk like they were so regal, but actually, they was they were looking at, like, when they got into the confines of their private quarters, they was looking at sausages up close.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean their whole culture was different.
like think about it. You ever watch that Stars, that show on Stars, Spartacus?
No, I never
I,
seen it.
mm,
I've been told to watch it for years. I just never sat down and actually
Spartacus.
watched it.
Spartacus is pretty. It is a very good show, but there's some homosexuality depicted in
Oh, of
in
course.
in the show.
That was their culture.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it was,
As much as they try and play it down, they can't escape that. That was their culture.
like, now Spartacus was a badass show, but they did
wow.
have those parts. They did have those parts. And it's like, okay, I'm not trying not to focus on those parts of the story. Let me hit my remote.
In that part of Europe,
Wow.
they were sexual deviants to an extreme. They got it in any way they could, animals. I've seen all kind of shit because I was really fascinated with that whole culture when I was younger. And they got it in with animals. They have stories of gods getting it in with animals, so it made it okay for the regular people to get it in with animals. It was all kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, that's how that disease came over to America, because they were doing all that crazy shit over where they were from. If when the white man first showed up in America, the Native Americans, their bodies weren't ready for the disease and the germs that they brought. So disease killed off like most Native Americans.
Wow.
It could, like, seriously, this is real. This is full fact. Like, diseases that the Europeans, they spent years and years building resistance to. When they came over here, the Native Americans couldn't do it. They couldn't take those diseases.
Yeah,
so
they
like
died.
they died. Most of them died. And then they tried to get rid of the other ones. So
yeah, you got to think of the whole the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages, these motherfuckers was throwing their shit in the street. Hell, they did it during the Enlightenment period. the whole Renaissance era, they was throwing shit in the street. They've always not giving a fuck about their environment. They threw their shit in the street. You had a bucket where they would shit, piss, and spit, and they threw it out in the street, and that was commonplace. So imagine the smells that you walked through when you was going through, and then you had an individual on the street corner cooking. Who wants to buy this pie? Who wants to buy this mutton? I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that, homie.
Yeah, we don't want dysentery. Like, dysentery was a major problem back then. That's why they had so many plagues.
Yeah, the plague fucked them up because they were disgusting. They didn't know how to take care of their shit.
That's why I seen something a while ago, and it was like, oh yeah, humans today think it would be cool. Oh, we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna go back to the Middle Ages. You set foot in the Middle Ages, you wouldn't make it a day because you would fuck around and die of dysentery because our bodies ain't equipped for the shit that they went through back then.
That's just crazy. And if the women wouldn't get pregnant, to tell her to be with another man to have a baby, or the man could take another wife and she couldn't say anything about it. That's crazy. Am I off subject? Yeah, the Spartan people. Like
man,
you can take another guy's wife. That is crazy. The government, like the women, they have to do it. That's pretty insane.
That's why the dynamic back then, and it's changed now because we had birth control, but back then it was if you stayed a virgin, because if you weren't a virgin, you took that risk. And granted, they knew about the pull-out technique, and I think they had condoms made out of I want to say sheep intestines or lamb intestines, something like that, which didn't really do much in the grand scheme. And they gave women a whole bunch of alcohol to have them have abortions, and it was crazy at times. But back in the day, if you weren't a virgin, it meant a whole lot because your husband was looking at you. Well, bitch, I don't know how many how many abortions did you have? What did you go through? Wow. I don't want you for my wife. So it was a different dynamic, and that's changed up recent years because we have birth control and all this other stuff now. But back then, it was a whole different genre. It was a whole different game plan. That's why polygamy is looked at for men. If I have a wife, I have multiple wives, she's only sleeping with me, then yeah, the baby's gonna come out, the baby's gonna look like me. I feel like this is my wife. But if it was a woman, she had multiple husbands, and she had a kid, it was only gonna be one of y'all's baby, and that baby was only gonna inherit, XYZ. So if you were sleeping with multiple men at the same time, they would kill that woman because and that child would probably be an orphan. But it's a whole bunch of shit to it.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna have to wrap this up in like 20 minutes. So let me let's get to this last one. The black people always in their fields. Let's talk about people like our people being triggered by social media versus how people will listen to accept mainstream media, some kind of stupid asshole when you bring up social media. So it's basically mainstream media indoctrination versus social media wake up call when I'm talking about this kind of thing. Do y'all have any ideas on what I just stated?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna talk last, so y'all go get it in.
Yeah, and then after that, after this, we'll have a final word, and then we'll adjourn. We will cease for now.
So you're asking like what our opinions on social media versus the mainstream media?
Social media wake up calls versus mainstream. Like I'll put it to you like this. I'll put it to you
Mm-hmm.
like this. I used to have problems with like a lot of my friends because it seemed like my friends wouldn't fight causes until they heard it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think anybody really pushed. Like we just got through talking about the LGBT and all that stuff. I don't think anybody really pushed for that until you saw it on TV a few hundred times. Like
I
I see what you're saying.
yes, but then that social media wake up call. Sometimes our people have a tendency
Sometimes our people have a
because they.
tendency.
I don't care. I don't care how much research you've done. I don't care how right you are. Some people act like if they don't hear it on TV or come from a news source that is controlled by our quote unquote dominant society or dominant culture, then they don't accept it. You're crazy. And then you're actually crazy if you have any kind of social media page that you talk regularly on or any kind of social media movement. You're actually crazy for saying the stuff that you say. But everybody's all in. Yeah, it's time to fight this. Yeah.
okay, so I'll say this. I said I was gonna talk last, but I'm gonna say this. So I think with mainstream media, you get a automatic sort of validity. You see it a lot with Facebook. People will comment on Facebook posts, and you see two different dynamics. You see somebody who's gonna comment, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I got it from this article. This article is gospel. It has to be taken as truth, way, and light." And then you see the other individual who posts some YouTuber, and you go, well, yeah, there's some nigga on YouTube. So the difference between the two is mainstream media has been given a sort of validity, even though it's been denigrated over the years and become a propaganda tool used by the left or the right, depending on where you stand. It's used by the both honestly, and then you have social media. Where it's somebody who may not necessarily be given paid, but he can also be a shield. But you feel like it's more authentic because it comes from the everyday man. I, I've learned a lot looking at all different angles. I've learned more so from social media simply because you see more of a dynamic and you can kind of get a feel for what these people say and how they say it. So from the opposite side of I guess my argument, I've learned a lot by watching these women or these men speak on certain topics because I get a feel for where they come from and why they say what they say. I may not agree with it, but I get to see their perspective a little bit better than the mainstream media, which I feel is a little bit more, I guess, whitewashed and the way it comes out.
Yeah.
So
you know
what though? You know what? I can't wait till we do like Martin Luther King.
Oh,
Lord, I can't wait to do our the Martin Luther King show.
Oh my God! Can you have me in on there, please?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
I'm gonna do the Martin Luther King show on his birthday weekend. So it'll be like.
Can we get a prostitute on here to give her?
Like.
Well, they have to be white though. They have to be a white prostitute.
We got to get him a white. We got to get a white prostitute on here that gets tricks to say, "Take this nigga dick."
What? Okay, I don't think I heard that part of Martin Luther King.
I want a full panel for this one, not like on the Obama show. Like, well, the Obama show was really a first panel. It wasn't the first panel I ever did on this show, but it was like one of the subject matter panels. Like me and Donnie and it's another girl named Shay. We did a panel like when I first started the channel. I think I had like maybe 40 subscribers. Yeah, but I remember that. I wasn't like I am now on this. Speaking of folks in public, like like I better. I hope, but this one is gonna be a very. I feel like this one's gonna be a very good panel. Like Martin Luther King birthday weekend, we're gonna do the Martin Luther King legacy show. We're gonna also revisit. We're also gonna revisit. Say what?
I said I might be gone. It's Brandon. Don't judge me. It's something called the Polathon that might be happening. I might be gone.
The Polathon.
Yeah.
Is it?
So what day is this, and what day do I need to show up in your city?
Oh, me. It's Martin Luther King weekend. It's that Sunday.
Okay. When is Martin Luther King weekend? Because I usually try and stay inside because I'm not trying to get shot. So which weekend is that?
It's January. I was just looking at it. January 21st is the Martin Luther King. So it'll be like.
Damn!
I'll be working.
I'll be. I think I'll be in London that weekend.
I might be. Depending where I'm at, Kev, I got you.
So
January. If I'm at the strip club, you might be SOL.
So January 20th is on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Bands will make her dance. All right.
Oh, okay. So, you.
What'd you say?
That what you're saying? You might be 20th that Sunday night. That what you're saying?
Sunday night, I might. It depends. I don't know if I haven't. I want to go. It's a work in progress. I'll let you know.
Okay. So I mean, we could probably do it Sunday or Monday. Like on his birthday observation, will probably be the best day to do it.
So you really want to shit on this man on his birthday?
I'm not saying shit. I want a kind of a mixed panel on it. I don't want everybody against Martin Luther King.
No, I'm for him. So don't worry, I'm for him.
I'm anti that.
But it's like, but for real though, notice like I don't is like the people who were against Obama were stating facts. The people in the chat that were for Obama did not put up much of a fight. I want people who be able to put up a fight against each other, bring up good talking points on both sides.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta talk to Ant because he has the links and stuff to all the stuff about how bad he was.
Yeah.
MLK is listen, I got a whole I can have a whole conversation about how MLK was out here fucking the streets up.
But before y'all go too far, I actually want to speak on this media thing because I think that's actually very important.
Okay. Well, we got to be on. Well, we got to get back on topic anyway. Then we got to wrap this up. But
before you start, Roger, the media thing, I did want to say this. I noticed a lot of people online, as far as like that goes, they tend to. Have you ever noticed people, if somebody makes a meme of something, people swear it's true and they'll just repost it like it's
gospel.
That's what kills me. Like
nobody fact checks anything. Nobody looks into any information.
If it's a meme and it has a good picture and it says some good shit, everybody believes it, and it's just like no, it don't work like that.
But black people don't understand what propaganda is, and that's our own worst enemy.
Propaganda. And who between mainstream media and social media pushes the most propaganda? Or are we about even on this one?
We gotta remember
white supremacy in general.
It's white supremacy to pushing more of anything. Go ahead. Say what you about to say.
No, like Nicole got cut off. What was she about to say?
Well, one thing I speak about often actually is, the image of the black man. You have to remember that propaganda created it. They did it on purpose, and they purposely created him as a rapist of white women and a criminal. That was all through. It started with the movie, but then they kept portraying those things on the news, and so. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it was prior to that. But go ahead.
No, this is right after. Prior to that.
It was prior to the 1916.
I'm talking about after. Yeah. I'm talking about before the man was free.
What man?
The black man. Before they freed him.
Oh, okay.
They created this image because they knew they weren't ready for him to be free. They started thinking, where's he gonna go? So it went on through history, through the presidents. You have Nixon, you have Bush, and all those people saying things about the black man. Social media. I mean, not social media. The mainstream media.
Lyndon B. Johnson, go ahead.
No, I'm talking about. What do you mean, Linda? I'm talking about like the strikes thing, the Clinton and Bush, like
Yeah,
those.
but that was prior to. But go ahead. Don't worry
No,
about it.
I know prior. I just meant like throughout presidents. I was just naming a few presidents, but my point was that the media is used to create whatever image they want, depending on your views. But people just think it's gospel because it came from the media, even though they only report half of it. They don't show the successful things that Black people do. They show criminals to this day, for the most part.
Yeah, the black person can never be a victim in any way, shape, or form. Anytime a black person is shown being the victim or
Hmm.
is the victim of an issue, they go back and they try to find something in the criminal history. So Alton
Yeah,
Sterling, they went back and found his criminal history. The little boy who was in the cage with Harambe, they went back to his parents to find some stuff. Tamir Rice, they went to Tamir parents to find some stuff. They try to create a
exactly.
narrative of black people are criminals
uh,
from birth.
the sad thing is if a black person gets killed. I was talking to this guy. I can't think of his name. His son got killed in 2016, and they're still to this day saying that it was a suicide, even though he was in a cop car with handcuffs on and he was shot in the chest and his hands behind his back. To this day, they still have it as a
That
suicide.
that was a big
Victor
story, wasn't
something.
it?
Yeah, but I knew the story before they showed it on TV. And the interesting thing was
It was shot in the chest, or I thought it was shot in the head.
chest.
Either way is
Well,
impossible. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was the
Are we
head,
talking
but
about Freddie Gray now?
no, it was like Victor
Freddie
something, I
Gray's
think.
his spine was severed. It was another little
Oh
boy
my
who
god.
was in the car and he had handcuffs on. He was in the actual car. And from my recollection, he got shot in the head. They said it was a
It
suicide.
could have been a head. Yeah, it could have been a head, but it was in the front. It came from the front. Was my point.
So
So I
you
was reaching
basically the
out
little
to
boy
the
would have
dad.
to twist his
It was
insanity.
impossible. The sheriff himself, that whoever in charge of the police department, said that he would release his guys to arrest and harass the black people for fun. That's what they would do in their spare time. The lawyer that was questioning him, I mean, he was cursing her out. He was the things that they accuse black people of doing or black men. I don't know any black guys that do that. These white guys, when you confront them, they do that kind of stuff. But the news isn't going to show that. And even when the judge tried to hold this guy in contempt, and they didn't get in trouble, mind you. So he just kept going and saying, "How dare you even ask me that question?" But they asked blacks that question. And the sad thing is, people keep saying that all these things were so long ago. This was 2016, and to this day,
No.
So
they
I'm
keep saying
still
that
like,
everybody's
it's
hanging
like Victor
themselves.
White.
That's it. Yeah, Victor. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah,
So I was
that's
talking to his family because I do plan on going out there and showing my support, but I have to. I'm going to Washington first, and then I'll meet them. But it's just a sad situation because they're still trying to get that suicide, the idea that their son committed suicide, taken off of the what do you call
What
that autopsy thing?
what city was this now?
Louisiana. Well, it doesn't say the city. It says Louisiana.
Okay, well Louisiana is known for.
Yeah.
But see, these are all crimes against black men. That's why I keep saying they should sue the government. But everybody gets like, "Oh, Nicole, stop saying that." But you know what? These things won't stop
No,
unless
Nah,
they do.
even suing
and
the government doesn't work.
the thing is, you have to people have to get a separation between what the government does and what the government simply endorses, because those are two different narratives.
I didn't hear the last one.
It's a difference between what the government does and what the government endorses. The government knows certain stuff goes bad. They just don't want to be involved with it because they endorse it going bad. Now, and my thing is, when it comes to propaganda, people have to realize mainstream propaganda has been pushed before television was even created. If you go back to old
that's true.
newspapers,
Yeah.
the propaganda was always against black men. That's just the way it has been in America. That's a negative
The
coverage of
super
black
nigga,
men
the super
is
nigga narrative.
what I'm saying. It's as American as the 13 stars from the original colonies and the 50 stars we got now. That's just how American it is. You can't separate that from America because the black man has never been good in America's eyes as a country. Now my thing is the problem with black people is we don't spend enough time talking with our children so we can teach our children how to think for themselves and draw their own conclusions. Mainstream media and the educational system is white supremacy indoctrination, period. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is. That's what it's designed for. And if people think that the ones that are in power that sets the agenda to give a person what they should be educated on, are not going to make sure that their people stay in a good position, well, I mean, you're kind of foolish to even think that as it is. So, the issue with us is we don't really deal with our kids enough, so we can teach them how. This is how you answer the test. This is how you answer the question for a test. This is how you understand it in real life. In real life, it's not about what school says. When you go to school, give them the answers they want to hear. Don't give them the truth. You see what I'm saying? When you have that concept of give them the answers they want versus give them the truth. See, when I grew up, I understood I answered the way they want me to answer them. Don't necessarily tell them the truth.
But that's an allegory for life. You have to do that with certain job interviews, with certain.
I mean, you do that as a black person. Period. That's just what it is. I mean, you cannot depend on propaganda or the instruments of mainstream media to tell you the truth. When September 11th happened, you know what I'm saying? Now, some people say it was an attack. Some people say it was an inside job. Now, me personally, I know this just going through Boy Scout, because I was a Boy Scout back in the day. And when they were on television when it happened, and they were saying, well, the buildings fell because it was too much damage because of the heat. Now,
that's a lie.
No, I know it was a lie, but I'm saying
inside job,
this is what the problem was. On television, when it happened, they started reporting that the building fell due to heat. Now, I know that the lighter the smoke, the cooler the fire. When a fire is hot, smoke is darker. When the planes hit, it was dark smoke, then the smoke went light, which means it was cooling down. But then the buildings fell because of this cool down fire that they claimed was too hot, even though these buildings were constructed to withstand a plane hitting them. So when you got multiple channels telling me the same lie, now the reason I know something is wrong is because I was in Boy Scouts. Now I'm not even talking about my education beyond Boy Scouts. I just simply was in Boy Scouts, and I knew enough at that point, what I learned as a child, to know that this story is a lie. And when you start putting the same lie on multiple channels, now I know good and well you got engineers and you got access to architects, you got access to all these people, you got access to geniuses. So you know what you were telling is absolute false.
Wow.
But it was on multiple channels. So that tells me I can't even depend on mainstream media to tell me the truth. That was clear and good as day. You can't depend on mainstream media to tell you the truth. And if I really want to find out about something that's covered, what I do is I go on social media and I find, I may look up 30 to 40 stories on something so I can at least begin to figure out what the truth might be.
You get different perspectives.
You said that, Roger. Because they was blowing up buildings all around those two towers just to get them to knock down. Like
there's an organization.
Make it. What? Go ahead, Brandon.
There's an organization basically that owns several news corporations. So when you turn on your TV, you have typically you have an option of 4 news channels. You got Fox, you got WCW, you got Channel 3, Channel 4, Channel 5. Now, this news corporation owns all of the Channel 3 and their subsidiaries. So they'll put out a news story that's local, they'll put out a news story that's national, and then they'll put out a syndicated news story with the exact same verbiage in every single county, and you'll never see it because you only live in one area. So you'll never see the news in Chicago if you live in Texas or Tulsa or New York. But they're saying the exact same verbiage in the exact same manner across the board. Yeah. And that is clear whitewashing.
I've seen 2 videos like that on Facebook where they will put together all these clippings of these different news reports around the country, and they will say everything the exact same way, verbatim.
Right.
They might have put their own little tone on it, but it was the same exact word. You know who else does that too? Church does that.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I would say,
you know what? The problem when you look at this. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say one quick thing. When it comes to television, television itself is owned by 3 different entities. There's only 3 that owns all of television. So every channel is owned by another company that's owned by another company till you eventually get up to only 3 sources. That's
That's the way it
Disney's
works.
one of them, right?
No,
Disney.
I think we're not even at 3 no more. I think we're at 2.
What?
If you guys watch the 9/11 videos closely, this is what tripped me out, and I had to look this up after I seen it. I watched it again and again. When they reported that building, it was before it happened. When you watch the video and watch the time that they reported that second build, they reported it before that building got hit. So when I brought that up to people, they just told me to be quiet and not to talk about it. So then I went to like black people and asked them about it, and they were tripped out. But I'm telling you that it was like 20-minute time frame before that that other one got knocked out. So that's kind of, and
I mean,
they remember they reported it in real time. So how would that have happened?
But that's propaganda as a whole, and I'll run it back to Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany, I feel like perfected propaganda. They're the ones.
Say the same thing. Hitler got the Jews killed with propaganda.
He started putting out the narrative of Jews ain't shit, Jews are still, Jews are this, Jews are that,
After the
and
war.
that shit rides till today in Europe. And it's not going nowhere soon. Not to take up a cape for them, but that shit still rises today. And the narrative that they spread there has spread across the world. Hitler was a cold motherfucker. He was dropping off pamphlets like, "Hey, listen, y'all finna lose. Y'all better get on this team."
He was an evil genius.
That motherfucker, Hitler was a savage. Most people don't know Hitler didn't die when they said he died. Hitler escaped Nazi Germany and took off. Now they don't know exactly where he went, but they think for sure it's South America, and there's plenty of evidence showing that he was in South America, and not only that he was in South America, that he continued his dynasty down there, and they continued the experiments, and that's documented as 120% fact that he continued his experiments and all the bullshit that he was doing, and they have whole towns in South America where they only speak German.
I can easily believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whole towns where you drive up there, it's a whole it's on Germany and in but it's like Bavaria in like nigga what? Huh? Come again? And it's a whole town, and you drive through, and it's crazy because I watched the documentary because I wanted to go to what is this damn place? I can't think of the damn name, but I wanted to go and my homeboy was like, "Listen, you need to watch this TV show before you do it." And it was called Finding Hitler, and they did I think 3 or 4 seasons where they were looking for Hitler in Germany. I'm like, this is conspiracy bullshit. Like, I'm not trying to hear this shit. And I watched one episode and was sold because they went to cities where they were talking to locals, and the locals were like, "Yeah, no, I grew up in this town where Mengele was committing his experiments and doing all this stuff. This dude died on the beach in Brazil. You telling me you were one of the worst SS Nazis that have ever been heard of, and you died on a beach in Brazil?"
Hitler, if he's still alive, that would be a real slap in the face from.
I mean, he could. I mean, I wouldn't think he. Well, I mean, yeah,
no, you still have people living from the Holocaust, so.
Yeah, I mean, he was grown man. He was probably in his 40s then. So, but, I mean, it's possible, but I mean, he probably did some experience and got some stem cell research ahead of his time. Who knows? But
crazy people live a long time.
This individual lived longer than what they told us he lived. So that's a narrative that the U.S. government spread, and that's a narrative that the media spread.
That's crazy, but you're actually right about that. And there's a whole app on that. Just looked it up. Hunting Hitler. You can get the app.
They said they found Hitler's brains and he committed suicide with him and Ava Braun. They later did a autopsy on that skull and found out that it was 2 women in that shelter. So it couldn't have possibly been Hitler.
No, they said that because of the reparation thing. They wanted to do, they were trying to make it seem like they settled it and they took care of the war crimes and stuff like that. So of course they're going to say he died.
Yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, it was more than that, but yeah. They said that it was 2 women in that shelter. So they said that Hitler died. So, I mean, regardless of what the situation is, you shouldn't have told us somebody is dead and they weren't. Which makes you wonder about Osama bin Laden.
I have trouble believing that one too. You can't get rid of the Klan, but you can get rid of Osama bin Laden. Get out of here. They don't know for
They
sure
don't want to
because
get
these
rid of the
people are
Klan.
different. No, they don't. That's not. I'm not gonna talk about what's illegal around here. What's unconstitutional. I'm just saying. They don't even
Y'all
want to
got
call
me
them
reading
names.
shit.
Well,
Oh
these
yeah.
things, and the thing is, I read about. I love history. I'm a history buff. So when I find like a new angle, I never thought about Hitler, and the Osama bin Laden thing. I never said, okay, well, I don't believe that he's. How do they know? Those people are so twisted. We don't know. He could have been any other guy. I'm not an
Yeah,
With a
Obama fan
beard.
anyway.
yeah.
But the Hitler
Hey,
thing is shocking.
hey, y'all,
Kev got
hey,
to shut
y'all,
it down. Go
hey, y'all. Say hello to Joe. I just heard from him.
Yeah, I did
ahead.
too.
Joe been ducking and dodging this conversation. He ain't
No.
want no parts of white
Was
supremacy.
just
Nah, I'm just
sleep.
fucking with Joe.
Yeah, he probably would just sleep, but I'll probably end up doing like a show tomorrow evening though. Like
Um,
I'm on vacation, so I got some time.
What? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
I'm cooking tomorrow. We doing Taco Tuesday out
Hey,
here.
Donnie, you gotta send me the link to that show on Hitler. I want to watch that.
Which I'll send you I'll send you a couple of them. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
okay, but we're just gonna get a last word from each one. We're gonna close it down, and
Argentina? Holy shit, it's lit.
Yeah, Argentina. There you go. Bavarian town.
yeah,
They don't like
uh,
niggas there.
No, they
yeah,
do. I have friends there.
No, I've never come across an Argentinian that's just been extra friendly. They feel like they some,
Okay.
but I mean
uh,
it's possible. I'm not
My dad's
exceptions to the
brother's
rule.
Argentinian. He's like a great guy. So, yeah.
yeah, but anyway, I don't know. I just think that a lot of us are just frustrated at the lack of. I guess of us are looking for an answer, and we're looking for. I'm doing the quote fingers right now. Solutions,
Mm-hmm.
and
Black
it's
American solutions.
yeah, but
Agree.
I just think that I don't know. I just think that people are just they just read in. I think our people, especially, we just read into things a bit much, and
Especially here in the background
we
noise. That does
and we
happen.
allow our emotions to take over common sense and logic at times.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it comes to these social media platforms. I think everybody had an answer, and not there are just that some ideas are better than others. And when some of us don't go along with the same ideas, then we have a tendency to get triggered and make each other into our own enemy, which I don't really think is I don't I, that's not a productive behavior. But I think that people just I think it's just a whole bunch of misunderstanding, and we need to for real try to start like respecting others' viewpoints. To be but we got to do whatever it takes to make sure that things are good for us as a
Mm-hmm.
people. Letting things like disagreements and triggering get in the way is sort of petty. So that's pretty much all I got to say as far as a final word. Anyone else? Like we'll just go through each one of the panelists. We'll let Nicole go first. You have anything before we sign off?
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I think that people get so emotional, and by people I mean like all people, not like any particular person, but like we get like really emotional. And I just think that even if a person has
Yeah.
like a different point of view, or if you don't like how they said something, it doesn't mean to discredit it. Everybody can you can have a different point of view, but the same goals in mind. There's so much to be done, and if you go a different route, I just think that we should be like more tolerant of each other, and maybe not be so quick to judge and put each other down instead of, like you said, finding solutions. There's no point to keep pointing the finger saying you guys did this, men did this, women did that. I think it's time now just to kind of have open discussions and healing and just come up with more solutions, like you're saying.
Donnie.
Um, I can piggyback off of that. I think Black people as a whole should be able to have a productive discourse, regardless of your political or any kind of leanings that you may have. Period, point blank. I think that in order for us as a people to push further, we need to have a understanding of all sides of the argument and be able to work with one another.
Okay, cool. I agree with that. Rain,
Huh?
Rain.
Huh.
Any last words before we sign off?
Brandon, you gonna leave me alone?
Hmm.
Oh, I'm talking about Donnie. He's messing with me. Basically, yeah. Like I agree with what everybody has said so far. I feel like just people need to learn how to laugh things off. Like I don't know if y'all ever noticed. Like I laugh at a lot of stupid shit because I don't see the point in getting triggered or mad now. Takes a lot for me to get mad. But I think Black people in general just we really need to learn how to take a step back and stop being so quick to attack. We need to learn how to talk to people. We need to learn how to be more sociable without going off and all that extra stuff. Sorry, I'm doing something. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and let's just all understand that this is not gonna be fixed overnight. It's gonna take some effort on all of our parts. Roger, we started with you, and we'll go ahead and end with you, sir. Final thoughts.
Uh, Honestly, I think black people basically just need to pay attention to how they're acting. And I know people are gonna hate hearing this, but stop acting the way white supremacy trained you to. At the end of the day, we're supposed to hate each other because white supremacy hates black people. So yeah, we target our own people and we look at them through the lens of the white supremacy gave us. You got to take those glasses off and start looking at them and do
Say that.
exactly the opposite of what white supremacy is telling you to do. When I see a black person in either hand, I give them the break. I don't give it, you know what I'm saying? You can give a white person the break, but why if you're gonna give a break to anybody, why not give it to your own? Because that's what everybody else does. And even when other groups have problems, and don't get me wrong, I know what they say, but my thing is pay attention to what they do. When women of other groups have problems, they
Oh my
still
god.
are their race first. No, I'm serious. They still have their race first. They don't do that. I'm a woman first. You know what I'm saying? The only women that seek power of men are women without men. You know, they stick to race first. If our women would stick to race first, our men stick to race first, a lot of our problems can be solved because a lot of the problems that we're dealing with now is because we have been so separated. Like that kid, Andrew Jackson, for example, that got his locks cut so he could wrestle. You know,
Oh,
uh, that's just an issue where a black person, well, based on what I know, because it seemed like a very white area to me, probably going to a predominantly white school. You know, you got white classmates, but the thing is, we are training as a people. We didn't know we are supposed to stand up for him because yes, he shouldn't have stood up for himself because he's still in a child's position. So it's not his job to stand up to that referee.
oh,
But the adults, if we were more community minded as black people and we stood up for that child, even though it wasn't our own child, we could have had much different results. So
Hey,
when we start, making stronger families so we can stick as a community better, we'll get much better results.
Randall,
And
just so
I'll
you
leave it
know
at that.
that that same referee had called a black person a nigga a year
Oh,
prior.
I know, but the
Oh, okay.
thing is, he can do that and get away with it as long as there are
Uh
no
huh.
black people around to call him out for it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There wasn't another black man at that particular position that knew to get. I'm not gonna say they weren't present because I don't know. We didn't. I never saw the whole audience, but none of us knew that we were supposed to step up and say, "Hey, no, he don't have to cut his hair." You know what I'm saying? The rules is
Now,
this and the rules is that. You know.
now, now, in my neck of the woods, we would have nipped that shit in the bud right then and there. We'd have had them scared.
He shouldn't have been no damn referee to begin with. But
He
you
wouldn't
know,
have done that if there was Black people around in general. He
Well,
He
There was
found
a
the
lot to say.
opportunity and took it.
Well, my
Yeah.
thing is, you can't stop white folks from trying stuff. But my thing is, if we were more community minded as Black people, even when they try stuff, we're going to show up. I'm gonna show up for my kid. I'm gonna show up for your kid if we're community minded. You know, that's all I'm pushing. We need to be more community minded, and no matter what, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's smart. It would be smart for us to do race first, because based on actions, every other group does race first. I don't care what they say, they still do race first.
Mm.
Gotta
So it
start
would be
somewhere.
it'd be smart for us to learn to play the game effectively, because we're playing it whether we want to or not.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Well, take my time to say this. This is a good conversation. My panelists once again for coming on, and they really are. They really have been tremendous thus far. You know, we do this. We're this. I've done this every Sunday for the past 5-6 weeks, but I think I'm just gonna make it every Sunday. So, and as far as like, what do y'all suggest? Are we doing this at a right time? Should we try to shoot for earlier?
Shoot
I
for
say
earlier.
10 o'clock is not a bad
I'm
time.
in California, so it doesn't matter.
I think we should shoot for earlier, even if it's early in the day. Granted,
So you can.
we all are available here and everything's cool, but for as far as audience wise, it's a little bit harder for
Oh, interesting.
people to participate in the discussion and
I would say
2 in the morning, 3 in
8,
the
9
morning.
o'clock. People are winding down. They can chill because a lot of times it's harder for people to listen during the day. I would say because, well, around my time, because like I'm busy now and I'm at work right now doing this. So like, I think the later the better. But that's
Okay.
y'all.
Well, I'm gonna give you the advice the rich man gave me. He said you throw a party and you don't worry about who show up. So my thing is pick a good time for yourself, and we will make it happen and be guests at that good time that you find for yourself.
And
I feel
Can't
like
please
arguing
everybody.
with you right now.
say what?
You can't.
I feel like arguing with Roger today.
Well, like I said, I might do a live later on this evening, depending on circumstances. But like I'm dealing with family. It's a holiday, it's Christmas and all that.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I'm cooking,
just
but as soon as I'm done cooking, I can act the fool. I got to get up and go to the gym and cook. But shit, even while I'm cooking, I can act the fool.
Yeah.
Come on here with you.
If y'all doing it during the day, I'm gonna be asleep.
Yeah,
So
but
fuck y'all.
yeah, but what I'm getting from like a lot of these lives, I'm getting a lot of topics that I can do too. Like I really want to revisit like the Black women in Hollywood that was discussed earlier. Yeah, because I feel like that issue does need attention, and also we're gonna do part 2 of Obama. Now that I'm getting people on panels,
I
let's
want to
see.
get to MLK.
Yeah, the MLK is going to be on the 21st of January. I'm just gonna.
Can we talk about
Go ahead.
Jesse and Mr. Skinny in the mirror with the big head?
That's about to be a shitstorm. I just see it like, oh, I could just see it.
Don't worry.
Yeah, like I said,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
save some of these topics for Donnie's show.
yeah, we're gonna do a part 2 of the subject matter of last week.
Which one is that?
The women don't have to respect you. We're gonna do a part 2 of that. And I do
God.
They don't have to respect you. All Black men got is dick and swag.
All I
according to
hear
Christopher
is
Garrison.
right now. I could just hear Roger like, women, women, women. This, like, oh, I'm gonna strangle you.
If I say it
yeah, I
enough
do.
I do.
And I do have the one for the men. I discussed this with Donnie the other day, but I'm gonna keep that a secret till like the day of.
When we was talking about these hoes ain't loyal. No, let me quit playing. Let me quit playing.
Yeah, we.
You know what? Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for this shit. Let's go.
These hoes ain't loyal.
No, I mean it ain't.
How Chris Brown was a victim.
Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here.
He just
Only
throwing
plan I
stuff
actually kind
out,
of believe
but
that.
we
I feel like Chris Brown didn't have. He bit that woman. That he was afraid for his life. You don't bite unless you're afraid for your life. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I bet you R. Kelly was a victim. That kid just ran in front of him
Nah,
like
we
he
know R.
was in the
Kelly did that
bathroom.
shit. You know, R. Kelly been talking about it off. Seems like you're ready, huh? But I just had my 6th grade graduation. Girl, are you ready
Oh my god, I
all
cannot.
right.
to go all
I,
the way?
I Kelly from my city, or he represent my city, so I'm a cut him some slack. Let's get a conviction or leave him alone. That's my thing. If we all know he's doing this stuff, how about stop protecting him and just get a conviction? If we ain't gonna go through that, then leave him alone. Because I get tired of hearing about it myself. And I just don't even understand why any father would let their child around that dude. You know what I'm saying?
So,
I just don't get it.
so my girl is from London, and she want nothing to do with R. Kelly because his music is still fire to me. I get it. I understand
I
that his
can't
music
listen to it.
the music is fire. She can't listen to it neither, but she put me on the BBC. Did a whole 2 specials on this nigga, and and the shit they
Damn.
said in this special was out of control. It was a dude who brought his daughter to R. Kelly at like 16, and as soon as she hit 18, she joined the cult, and they couldn't get a hold of her.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "This is your fault."
Well, yeah, you wouldn't believe some of the rumors I hear living in Chicago. You wouldn't hear some of the rumors I've heard over time. Trust
The
me, you really
whole
wouldn't believe it.
the
But
whole article was the whole thing. He was trying to stunt in the damn thing. I just want my daughter back, but he having interviews in a mansion, and we know he don't live in a mansion. This shit's insanity to me. But yeah, I get it. I get it.
yeah, see, my thing is, yeah, if we really care, how about we convict them? And if we don't actually care, stop playing with them. That's my thing.
Nobody's
Now, me
really gonna do
personally,
it. He still got supporters. I know y'all seen that
no,
video,
no, no.
and what's sad, it's
It's not
really
about
the
the
older
supporters. It's about the
generation.
people. It's really about the people who know and that are involved that are simply protecting. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nowhere in the world he's committing that many crimes and don't have help getting away with it. And that's why I'm
Man,
Yeah,
saying,
he
if
got a
we're not
full
gonna
team.
go through the trouble of convicting him, just leave it alone already, because we don't
I
need the
blame the
bad
older
publicity.
generation because those
Yeah,
older aunties and mamas and grandmas still going out, going to this man concert, supporting
Step,
him and his
step,
music,
what you
wiping
trying to
side to
his
tell?
side.
face.
I still listen
Baby,
to his
wipe my
music.
face. Now wipe
I
my
still
tongue. Wipe my
I listen to
glasses.
his
What?
music.
Hey, listen, I feel like
Honestly,
the nigga. I'm
and
an
and
atheist. I
he
feel like that nigga sold his soul to the devil. What you want me to say?
no. This is my thing. I listen to his music because his music's dope. Because my thing is, I don't associate a person's actual character with whatever I'm valuing them from an entertainment purposes. His personal life ain't got nothing to do with his music. And I don't want black people to even hold him to that standard unless they're gonna
That's
start holding
disgusting. I
white
can't
folks to
agree.
that standard. No, I'm saying unless they're gonna hold white folks to that standard. Because these white folks about here been doing crazy stuff. I don't know how long. Yeah, we read their books, we watch their television shows, we go watch their movies and all that. My thing is, if you really care that much about people's personal behavior, why you got to care when it's a black person, but you don't care when it's all them other folks?
That's true.
Ooh.
Uh,
No
me and
comment.
Rain had this conversation earlier today because I read part of R. Kelly's book, and the conversation was when you've been sexually abused, you will go out and continue that cycle. I read part of R. Kelly's book, and on R. Kelly's book, it was very weird, but he spoke on basically him being sexually abused in a
Yeah, he was.
light tone. Uh, it was weird. And if you
My thing
listen to
is,
his music is riddled with overtones of sexual deviancy. So I mean, it shouldn't be a
It
surprise.
seems like you're
my
ready.
thing is,
Tell me,
AJ
I'm
nothing
I'm
but a
pretty sure
number.
he was. I'm pretty
AJ
oh
sure
nothing
shit,
but a thing.
I'm pretty sure the man has been sexually abused, but my issue is black people are too big into they're too into excuses. My thing is stop making excuses and stop accepting excuses. That man got so much money he could have paid for some professional help to come in. Period.
I don't
So,
think he
but
got that
but
much
now as
money
the
to do it.
public, that's what my thing is. If we're not going to actually convict him, leave him alone. Why do you keep bringing it up if we don't want to go through the trouble of convicting this man?
People I think some people keep bringing it up because they want him in trouble. They want to see him,
Now this is what I said.
suffer.
They
But
did try to convict him. They did try to convict him, and that little girl got on stage and said that wasn't me. Now, that's one of those situations where the criminal justice system really just failed.
Wow.
No, I mean you can't force somebody to rat the man out. But at the end of the day, if he was really doing, see that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't believe the rumors I hear in Chicago. See what I'm saying? Because I done heard all kinds of stuff about stuff being paid off, stuff being set up, and all that type of stuff. And I ain't gonna say too much, especially on air. But my thing is, ain't nobody really trying to convict that man. Ain't nobody really trying to get him convicted. So just
No.
leave it alone.
All right, all right, guys. Let's end on this because I'm getting sleepy. And
There we go. There we go.
Seems like Kev's ready.
Yeah, we could do R. Kelly on the whole show. That's a show in
Ready,
itself.
go to sleep now.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we can do a show on R. Kelly. In fact, I'm jotting stuff down so we can that we can cover.
R. Kelly,
And
R&B or pedophile.
Yeah. That it might not be the exact title, but we're gonna do one on R. Kelly. Because it's like is a topic, it also helps us bring awareness to some of this crap that's going on in our community. But anyway, guys, once again, like I said, thanks for coming. I really enjoyed the weekly basis, and like I said, I'll let y'all know about tomorrow, but definitely next Sunday we'll be doing one. I haven't figured out what the topic's gonna be yet, but we'll be back here next Sunday. So, all right, say goodnight, people.
Good night, people.
Good night, Cal.
Good morning, or whatever.
All right.
All right,
Good
guys.
morning, people.
And remember, everybody has a YouTube channel or something going on social media. Dunny has You Ain't Shit for Watching. Nicole has Politics with Nikki. Rain has Rain's World and Peanut, and has the Roger Report, and of course, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Subscribe, especially subscribe. Trying to grow something here. and I hope you enjoyed it. So good.
I shared your video on Peanut Butter Girls. That's like 55,000. So hopefully some people looked. Be nice.
Okay. Yeah, it would be. And I think we topped out at 8 viewers on here. Now for the channel this size, 8 viewers is pretty good. And to get people to stay on and watch it, that's and for stay on and watch the entire show, that really says a lot about this panel here. It's not just me.
Yeah, and it's good.
It's not. Yeah, it's not just me. It's us. So. So, like I said, once again, I do appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys some other time. Peace out, and be safe. I mean, it's the holiday.
You too. And if I don't talk to y'all, enjoy the holidays.
All right.
Bye.
All right.